As we're gonna be.
Well, you better be ready, cause we live. Okay, let me go get the link out to the places it's gotta go out, and we can. Who wants to check audio for me? Who's
I got
doing?
Give me just a sec.
Okay. Okay, let me. Woohoo! Copy, go.
There we go.
Perfect. Okay, so how am I, audio wise? Do I sound good? Am I a good volume? Do I need to be louder? This is probably about what I'm gonna talk about. I might get a little louder at times, but this is gonna be my base
I'm
audio
letting it
level.
catch up. So.
Okay.
It's a little quiet as a whole.
Okay. So I need to be louder. How about me now? Is that better?
It's like 20 seconds behind, so.
Okay. Well, you'll get it.
Yeah.
Are you quiet?
They sure will get it.
No.
Okay, you're good.
John, can you talk?
No.
Okay, you need to bring your mic
Why-
closer
why
because you're
won't I?
quiet for me.
I'm quiet
Yeah.
again? Okay.
Oh
hang
no,
on,
I
I'm
have
setting
you
this
low.
game
Hold
down.
on. Now just try.
Okay, how about now? Is it still pretty quiet? Because we had this issue before.
No,
where I
I
was doing this weird thing.
you should be good. Just give me a second. We have to be careful with you because you get really loud.
Yeah.
No, I don't. I am
Yes,
maintained
you
and
peak
calm
the
at
mic more
all
than
times.
anybody else on this podcast, John.
That's a myth. That's a myth.
I think it
and
goes you
I
and
don't
then
think-
me.
I think that is propaganda by the Germans, and
And stop trying to be like our current administration.
How's John? Is he good?
Still quiet.
Really?
I'm doing okay, honestly. It's okay. I'm not doing great, but pretty decent. I'm done with work for the week. Get to go up north next week. Be. So we're filming early. Filming.
I'm gonna have to
Start
adjust him on the
recording early.
fly. I know I am.
No, you're not. This
Yes,
is
it's
the
It's so
volume I'm
fun to
gonna
try
get
to
the
listen to like
entire-
audio levels on the stream,
Fine.
and then immediately people start talking in like my ear at Discord, and they're two different volumes.
Do, 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 do.
Yeah, it's impossible to try to get like good readings.
If Mason's good, Michael should be good.
In theory.
Yeah, Michael's
I like
good.
your
Well, 'cause-
optimism.
Oh no, on my end, Michael's louder than Mason, and so that
Yeah.
should translate right. Austin, you talk.
I am talking about stuff.
You
I
should
don't know.
Also, probably be fine.
Austin, how are you doing, bud?
Austin's a little quiet.
Okay.
What are your
I-
thoughts on geopolitical state of the union?
I
I
don't.
would like to die.
I don't trust John because I think John's gonna get louder when he starts talking about shows. So we're gonna keep him the volume he's at.
I feel like this is bad publicity, and I think it's rude.
You do not keep that level of volume the whole time.
No, I do. I think you just make stuff up, Sean.
Among Us.
John, you are asking for people to get their ears blown out. I hope
I
you
am
know.
not trying to do anything. I'm just not going to be loud right now.
I
don't
have-
need to shout right now.
I have you at 130 volume on Discord. I'm not putting you any higher.
Okay, that is kind of crazy, actually. Let me
That
see if my settings are wrong.
is a
I felt
decision
wrong.
of all time.
I mean, I reasonably,
I'm
I
at
could
89
I
mic.
could drop you all like I could drop all of you like 15, 30, and then bump all of your all the gain up. But I don't. I actually trust that less.
I feel so targeted here.
Hold on. Let me.
John, it's not targeting. It's just the strict truth. Like we're not trying to be mean.
It's a myth.
See, the problem is if I drop everybody's volumes a certain amount and I bump the gain, you could be quiet on my end, and I don't like that. I like being able to actually hear my co-hosts. Okay, that I think should be good. John talk.
John, talk.
Mason talk.
Man, if only there's a way to do this, like,
Okay,
before the
talk when
podcast,
John's
dude.
not talking over you, which I know is very difficult.
I know.
I feel like you backed away.
No, a little bit.
Okay, let me. I need to bump you a little bit still, even with the gain. I think. Although it's hard to tell. Okay, Michael, you're
here.
probably good, right?
Okay.
Yeah, I
mean,
think
maybe.
I think you're.
The Fitness Gram Pacer test is a multi-stage aerobic capacity test that progressively gets more difficult as it continues.
Okay, Austin.
I am just reading an article about somebody that I've never heard of before, and
Rad.
yeah.
Okay, we should be good. I just essentially what I care about is that it's not like somebody's not deathly quiet, because I think on the D&D streams I'm really fucking quiet, and I need to make sure that's right. I think I left it that way for 69 sessions of D&D. Let's go.
Nice.
That we defeated Vecna in session 69. Calculated.
Yippee!
Well planned. But welcome everybody. We're here for the anime podcast, the Save or Slay, the channel's anime affray, summer 2025 podcast. It's our
Everybody
favorite
clap.
time of the year. We never do summer. Summer evades us like the plague, for good reason, as we're finding out in the background of scheduling things. People do things in the summer. Weird. Who does this?
That sucks.
I do things in October and January. You should all do that.
No, that requires too much effort.
Those aren't good months.
Just
But-
a reminder.
But
I'll bring it up later.
yeah,
Sorry.
you're good. You're good. Welcome to the podcast. For those of you who are new, how this is gonna work is each of us previously has done a convoluted method of. It's actually really simple if you think about it, but we'll say a convoluted method of picking shows. So the shows we're gonna talk about, we have 11 of them on the docket. They are newly airing shows. They are not sequels. They are usually not spin-offs that require immense amount of prior knowledge. We've really been breaking that rule in the past couple, particularly last season in particular, but it's fine. You know, 2 of them made it in the top 3. 1 of them won. Crazy.
Yeah.
We don't talk about it. But so we have 11 shows. You might be thinking, Sean, there's 5 of you. How do you have 11 shows? Well, one of us got so lucky to win a wheel spin and put a fantastic show on the podcast, as is
You guys aren't
tradition.
gonna believe this.
the-
You guys aren't gonna believe this.
Lucky is a
spun the wheel.
strong word.
We spun a wheel.
I'm not sure I would use such strong language in front of the children.
I think the podcast history of wheeling shows has always been phenomenal, and that has never been and will never be disproven. So Austin has a 3rd show. It's technically the wheel show. If Austin were to somehow win with that show, I actually think I would stop the podcast. I don't think anyone becomes anime king. I might give it to somebody random in the Discord. I just give it to Amber.
After watching Austin's show, we might want to stop the podcast.
I don't know what you're talking about. We will talk. We close the podcast with it. I can't wait.
It's gonna be
Again, we can take as long as
But-
we need.
What we
Great time.
what
All I see is the helicopter.
What we do-
As the green cases the screen.
what we
Like
do with these
Mason?
11 shows is we watch the first 3 episodes. Caveat: episodes 0 to 2. Thanks, Austin, and the wheel. You really have just complicated it all. It not only is it a show we're gonna have to talk about, but it also fucking messes with my layout and how I describe the format of the podcast. So Kamitsubaki, the last show we're gonna talk about, is gonna have 14 episodes for its season. That will definitely matter in the long run. And it airs because it aired in episode 0. So for every show we watched episode 1 to 3, except for Kamitsubaki that we watched 0 to 2. We watched 3 episodes of every show. That's the important part. And we are going to bore you for a little bit as we go through and talk about the shows by doing our best to recap 3 episodes of some of these shows, and then generally give our collective opinion about it. And then at the end of the podcast, we vote off the show. We vote on what shows we think are good and what shows we think are bad. The shows we think are good, we save. The shows we think are bad, we slay. And the show with the most slays gets voted off the podcast. If there's a tie, we send it to the wheel. There is no re-voting. We don't care about this. This is not a democracy. This is a wheel. This podcast is a wheel. And so that is the gist of it.
This podcast is a wheel.
With that in mind, our talking order this season is going to be. We almost did this really well on layout. It's gonna go Mason, John, Michael, me, Austin. We were so close to having it right. None of you are allowed to change names. I'm not redoing layout right now. But so that is the order we're gonna go, and we're gonna be talking about Gachiakuta, Fragrant Flower, Leviathan, The Summer Hikaru Died, Clevatess, City the Animation, With You in the Rain, Silent Witch, Lord of Mysteries, Solo Camping for Two, and then Kamitsubaki. And so we go in that order, and at the end, Austin goes again. He gets to talk twice in a row. It's gonna be great.
Yes, sir.
So
Find
there
it.
are going to be spoilers for the first 3 episodes of these shows. However, not enough that listening to us means that you won't have any reason to just go watch these shows yourself. In fact, I much more recommend you go and watch these shows than take or summaries as word. Maybe except for 1 or 2 of them, you can get away with it. But that is the general gist. In addition to this, we're gonna have harsh language. Someone's gonna curse at some point if we haven't already. We probably have. But that's okay.
Just the first, like,
YouTube
3
doesn't care.
seconds.
YouTube doesn't care anymore. So they say. And spoilers. In addition to that, every single week of the season, except for the very last one, we power rank our shows. We put our shows and we battle them against each other and decide what order we think is best to worst on a power ranking. And so I have that ready to go this season, and you're going to notice on our power ranking that it is split into sections for this week's episode. It is top 3, middle 4, bottom 4. And there is going to be a black line separating those so that you can see it. And any show that is bolded is a show that is in that section of the power ranking only for that person. So it is a unique power ranking placement, and we bold it to see so. There's a lot of shows here, so it might be a little tough to see. That's right. I looked at Austin's power rank and I went, really? That show's bolded? And I was like, no, that is true. Everybody has it just slightly lower. So Austin has 2 bolds. Mason has 1 bold. John has 1 bold. I think I did it right. And if I didn't, don't fucking say anything. I don't need to know. I won't change it. So yeah, there's the Michael. You see what I meant by we have basically the same power ranking? Just shuffle a couple of things around.
Mine is also pretty darn close to
It's
your
close.
guys'
It's
as
close.
well.
There's a couple. There's a couple of similarities across the board.
Yeah.
I've done a funky thing that no one else has. I should have just bolded my 11th show because it is different enough to warrant it. We'll talk about it.
Fair.
We'll talk about it when we get there.
That certainly wasn't a very far off 10 and 11 for me.
But we will be getting into that. It should be noted sometimes on this podcast we will talk about what we've been up to and other things as such. We're not doing that tonight because we have 33 episodes of anime to talk about. And I don't want to be up to 7 in the morning because that's what will happen. Yeah. That is what it will happen. So.
I'm just seeing Sean's desktop pop up in the background.
I know. Wait, ignore it. It's fine. It's just you just occasionally get a glance of terror and resonance.
Genshin Impact.
That's definitely. We have a bigger problem if that is on my desktop. That is a call for help that should not be there. But let's Mason, we're gonna launch to you for Gachiakuta.
So Gachiakuta is this funny.
Oh really? That's how you want to call it?
Light-hearted, definitely not edgy, real wholesome show. No, so Gachiakuta is one of the edgiest shows I've seen in a hot minute.
And it's not even the edgiest show this season.
I know, it's wild. So it follows Rudo. Rudo is a scavenger in a world where there are 2 parts to this town that he lives in. There is the nice part of town where all the rich people live, and there's the slums where they put all their garbage.
Detroit.
And pretty much. And then when the garbage gets to be too much, they shove it out into this big bottomless pit on the edge of the cliff of the slums. Well, turns out they don't just send trash there. They send people if they commit crimes. And Rudo is framed for a crime. The crime being killing his father figure. Not his actual dad, because his actual dad got sent into the pit like 10 years ago.
For
See,
murder as well.
also, yeah, I can summarize my show, John. So,
I can't summarize my own.
Long story short, Rudo gets framed for murder, gets sent to the pit. The pit is basically just actual hell. There are giant trash monsters. The air is toxic. Random gangs of people will just try and kill you. But on the cool side, Rudo gets superpowers. He can turn random objects into weapons. And also, by the power of incredible violence, he can get his way in certain things. I'm being very light in my explanation, but this show isn't like extremely lore rich. We are using our main character as a vehicle to do a cool power system and beat the shit out of people. That's about it. We watch the main character eat a guy's fingers at one point in the first 3 episodes. This show knows exactly what it's about. It just wants to be shock and edgy, and also fights. It's an edgy shonen. It's a good time. I don't think it's anything to write home about, but it's fun.
Yeah. Have you seen the main character's gloves? They're so terrible and disgusting.
Yeah.
I would lose my goddamn mind about that. I've never seen someone. I'm very interested if in the manga they are so clearly more worn and beat up. Like they don't look new and pristine, but they certainly don't look like hot dog shit like everyone wants to describe them. They're like, those are the shittiest looking gloves I've ever seen. I'm like, they look like fine working gloves
Those are the
to me.
nicest thing on his person.
That is true.
So Austin, why is this number 2?
Yeah. I'm curious, and this is my show.
I enjoyed the aspect of like how they built the world in the first like couple episodes that like you don't see in a lot of shonens.
Okay, I can get
And I
that.
think that's like it's like very clear, and like, you know, even though it is just like very edgy, like yes, it is very edgy action slop. It's very rare that I
So
watch a
is your
shonen and I'm
number
like,
3.
okay, I've got a clear understanding of like what the world like is. They've described the world pretty concisely, and it makes a lot of sense. And I think that the powers are reasonably cool, and I thought the whole bit in episode 3 with the plunger was really funny. And I think that this character and like the setup interests me way more than a lot of other like MCs this season. I'm gonna be honest. The MCs this season are not exactly the best that we've ever had on this podcast as a whole.
Some of our
so-
shows you have to look real hard to figure out who is supposed to be your MC.
And
Yeah.
like in my history, when I've been like absolutely bitching about like how shonen authors like suck, a lot of what it boils down to, like one of the 4 cardinal sins I have of like shonen anime is that the side characters being like unbearable to watch compared to or the main characters being unbearable to watch compared to the side characters. And so far each of the like main characters that have been introduced, I've enjoyed watching, which is not something that usually happens.
I will say that I was not the biggest fan of this coming out of episode 1. I'll talk about why in a second. And what I really needed from the supporting cast were characters who were enjoyable, and at least one of them to be a little more lighthearted and like not the Debbie's Downer known to man. And Engine, for what it's worth, I think fucking rules. And I'm expecting the other 2 to also be very likable. I do think the plunger bit overstays its welcome just a tad. It got a chuckle out of me, I won't lie. So my biggest problem with this show is that, and this show is still sitting middle of the pack, and I still think it's a really impressive looking, and I agree with Austin that I think setting-wise, it's really killed it on, like, establishing where we are, what things are. The monsters are really rad, and the power system's really cool. I'm still not 100% sold that the tone needs to be so dark. The show hasn't really given me a reason why we have to constantly be so dark, and like there is no silver lining in this show yet. And the knife in the back for me was writing the female girl in episode 1 to so outwardly turn on him
It's like 180.
at the execution platform when scenes prior
Mhm.
even looked like she was still doubting and holding on to hope to believe in him. Now the hope would be that perhaps he actually can't see exactly to her and know exactly how she feels and thinks. We shouldn't have heard her dialogue then in that scene.
No.
I think there are ways to write this that'll be a good thing, and you can spin it around. I don't necessarily think there's anything wrong having a show that has no silver lining. Berserk notoriously has very little silver lining in it at all. But Berserk, I think, also does not give you it paints it pretty clear from the start. Don't expect a silver lining. The story's not meant to have one. And there's very good reason for it. But like I said, the supporting cast characters, particularly Engine in particular, have been wonderful, amazing. Boy, if I did not go to the sub to get a screenshot, would I not know that his name is not Engine, like a car engine? It's like a Japanese name, Engine.
It's not like the cartoony Crash Bandicoot villain Engine.
Yeah, that's
Right.
so. Are we all watching this dubbed?
Yeah.
Yes.
No, I watched the sub.
You watched this sub? Okay. The dub's good. The dub's really good. I
Yeah.
like it a lot.
Really solid job.
I got Sean to watch a lot of dubs this season.
Yeah.
Because we watched that
Oh,
together.
There's a lot of them.
Yeah.
Like there's
There's a
a
lot of
ton of them
good
that are out.
And a lot of
And
them are
it's-
really solid with like a few characters. I'm like,
And it doesn't run into that issue I had before with dubs, where like sometimes like because there used to be a lot fewer English voice actors, they used to get very very samey voice wise. And
Michael
you're just like, I can't, like this is the same fucking character as this one, and I can't separate that. And it's
Michael
gotten
getting-
better.
Michael
but-
continuously getting shotgun blasted by fucking
But Ivy's
Ivy's
voice
voice
actors
actors?
from
who is it
that
this
one,
season?
she's in like 3 of the shows. I don't remember exactly who. She's in like 3 of them.
I want to say she's somewhere in Silent Witch, maybe not.
Oh, she's like, I think she might be Lana. She might be the fucking the female pro tag of Clevatess.
I think she
maybe
is.
not.
I
She
think
is.
Like,
She
there's like
is.
like multiple characters, and every time I heard, I was like, God damn it.
it's good for her. Glad she's getting work.
Yeah.
No, I'm hopeful for this show. I'm really interested in elements about it. From a shonen perspective, setting up a antagonist who you do not know the identity of and then distancing yourself really far away from them is very fun. It gives you a lot of leeway to work with a villain and not know, like there's lots of things about what happened on the surface that I'm very interested about. And obviously we're probably not going to get any of that this fucking season because he's nowhere fucking near it, and that's cool with me. I like what they're building. I'm interested to see where stuff goes. But we'll talk about it when we talk about Summer Hikaru Died and when we talk about Clevatess. Both of those shows have other elements to it that make the really dark tone not so grueling on me. I mentioned to Michael, this feels very similar to when I read
Goku Rakugai. is
yes,
the
thank
one
you,
you're
Goku
looking for.
Rakugai. Because I
Goku
read like
Rakugai.
3 chapters of that, and I went, you are doing too much to make this the most, like, so dark story I've ever, like, every character in that has, like, the worst possible set of events happening to them all the time, constantly. Which this one isn't too bad yet on that, so I'm just a
Well, it's
little
getting there.
hesitant with it. It also fucking blows my eardrums out with its opening. Crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this show is fine. I don't have a bad time watching it. It's a certifiably fine enough show, and I think part of the reason why when I went to do my peers, I had finished watching this like a week ago. It felt like at this point, and the only thing I really think of is most of episode 3, and I didn't really like the plunger bit. I thought it was funny for the first 30 seconds of the 5-minute bit, or essentially. If it wasn't that long, it certainly felt that long. Especially the 20 to 30 second Scooby-Doo motherfucking scene where they're running back and forth between halls. Then they do the same scene 3 times with that, where they repeat the same hallway movements.
But it is a
I was
Scooby-Doo
like-
scene, so it does get some points from me.
Yeah, again, it was funny for the first 5 seconds of it,
True.
and then they did the same movement between hallways
See,
3 times.
But if they had a plunger during the scene, it would have been really just really sent it home.
What if there
See,
was
if it
a
was just a normal
second
plunger,
plunger?
if it wasn't a plunger with infinity shit inside of it,
Don't worry about it. His
Wait.
powers in particular are really cool.
I think the show is neat.
I think the show is rad. But no, like I said, you guys touched on a lot of it. Especially it's got a good setup. But like you said, it is definitely leaning into the super edgy aspect of it. Which is really weird because in the first episode we had a couple of scenes where it's not completely super dark edgy, but it also kind of had a disjointed start where it's okay, he's breaking in and stealing stuff, and then he's back on the streets as if nothing happened in the same exact outfit that feels relatively identifiable, but also I guess not. And also doing matrix dodging and stuff, which was sick. But and like I said, I also wasn't a big fan of the immediate heel turn of character we built up to defend main character. That didn't even seem heartbroken. It just seemed yeah, no, you were trash after all. Bye. So like I said, we'll see kind of where it progresses. It's just kind of one of those shows that's just in that the classic week 1 pack of shows that you end up with, that you just kind of shuffle into a hat and pull one out of is kind of where it is for me.
It was not in my very clear really or really clear don't really like.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So it's kind of indifferent for me as well, but despite the ranking being relatively high.
Makes it your show. Additional closing thoughts?
I'm excited to see where it goes. I think it has a lot of promise. I think I see this show where it starts off with the edginess full on max, and then it kind of dials it back when it gets into the meat of the actual plot. Because I don't think we've really gotten too much of the actual plot of what we're going to be doing down here.
We don't know. We don't know anything about this group yet to know what they're gonna have him doing.
Yeah.
So, did anybody else get spoiled on the character we're gonna eventually get in the show?
No.
Oh, people have been very happy about this character, and apparently the voice rules.
Is it a woman with big badongers?
It is a mature black woman. Let's go, anime. Let's go. Apparently the voice fucking kills. That's all. It hit my Twitter. It happens. You can't escape certain things.
The mature African American lady has hit the Twitter.
See, my Twitter has too much horse and Teto on it to see anything else.
That's fair.
Rest in peace, Crest Wonder.
Okay,
Yeah,
rest in peace.
Rest in hay.
Let's hop on over. John, you're up next. Hey guys, real quick, if you didn't notice, when I switched to the scene where we talk about when the person recaps the show, all the information about the show is in a nice little box for you. Especially where you can watch the show. Except for this one, because this is a lie, because Netflix hates you and doesn't want you to see this show till September. Have fun.
It's too good. You can't watch it yet.
Have fun.
You see, the way that we watched this totally legally is that we watched the Japanese version as it aired, and then we had live translation from somebody.
And since Austin read the manga, he could tell us word for word what happens in every scene.
Yeah.
Austin also speaks some Japanese, so we can actually also do that.
I failed my N5.
But he got close.
I was 1 point away from passing.
That is close, dude.
That's
Bubbled his N5 exam, which is kind of crazy. If you don't know what bubbling means, don't worry about it.
Okay, John, let's talk about the fragrant flower that blooms with dignity.
Watch the fragrant flower blooms is it's peak. But so we have our 2 main characters. You have I'm just gonna go off with names on the internet. You have Sugimi Rentaro and Wagari Karuko.
Karuko.
Either way, they each go to 2 separate schools. There's an all-boys school and all-girls school, and they're next to each other, so they can stare maliciously at each other through a window. And the boys' school is made out to be this like, they're all the edgy, like, troublemaker boys, but mostly they're just kind of good boys, just being boys. And the girls' school is supposed to be like the prim and proper, high-end lady society sometimes, but they're also just kind of mean. And so what we end up with is this kind of like rivalry between the schools. We're like, hey, we don't talk to that school because they're from that school and they're lame, or we don't talk to that school because they're mean assholes. And so we have a couple of little interactions and stuff, and then finally we have Sugimi, who goes and works at his mom's shop, which is a little bakery. And there's a girl there from the other school who is eating sweets. To which she keeps coming back because she's interested in this cashier she sees there, who's Sugimi. And so they end up sitting down and having some sweets together and become like fast friends. And there's like a little bit of the misunderstanding classics where it's like, hey, I can walk home by myself. It's fine, right? But then the mom finds like the leftovers and he's got to go save her from some bad boys being assholes. Like we kind of get the classic like good boy school, good girl school rivalry where, you know, the friend group slowly mix together where it's like they keep finding each other in public and they go, hey bro, how's it going? Why are you talking to that girl from that school? And then her friend comes along and says, hey, why are you talking with that guy from that school? And I think it's in episode, is it 2 or 3 where I think it's in 3 where they are at a like library studying and he's asking for help studying. And you have this really cute scene where he's like sitting there studying and trying. He's like, God, this sucks. And he sees 2 girls like for a spot, so he just packs his stuff up and walks away, like a good boy. And they have this little meetup behind the school when she is on break from her own teaching session. She's a big smarty, and her friend comes out and starts being toxic, and then his friend starts to come out and trying to not be toxic, but kind of being toxic to the point where they end up getting the boys to apologize for scaring her outside the school in the second episode. She waited outside of the school for him, which is really cute. And you have this really interesting scenario where it looks like the childhood female friend might or might not be interested in Wagati as well, or at least protecting her because they're, like I said, the childhood friend stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's just kind of a lot of like friend dynamics, and then they have a very cute phone call to end the day where they're like talking to each other. But I don't know, I can't like describe this in a way that does it justice. It's just really cute. It's very peak. The characters are very, very good. I like both friend groups being like rational people. And right now the main cast, while they are 2 in-love idiots, they are rational people as well who make actual rational decisions where it's like, hey, you probably should go try to walk her home, and things like that. I hate that, Sean. But yeah, I really enjoyed this. I'm glad I stole this from Austin. It's wonderful.
He's gonna kill you. He's gonna kill you by the end
He's
of
in
the podcast.
Cincinnati now. He's too far away.
Someone else is going to get killed.
But listen,
Wait.
if I didn't pick this show, someone else would have killed me. So
Uh-oh.
wait, Sean.
Uh-oh.
Wait,
So,
wait,
no, I
Austin,
think
does she cancer?
actually...
Does she play the violin, Austin? Does she cancer play the violin?
Hey, remember that thing I said about John peeking the mic?
I know what you mean.
I want to. So this show's top of my PR. The show's fucking fires all cylinder, 3 episodes straight. This is top quality romance. Oh my god, these 2 are wonderful.
Top quality edging romance, where it's like they don't quite get together, but like they should be.
No, but like so. If you are structuring a romance where the characters meet for the first time in your story, where you aren't already pre-existing setting up that they like each other,
it's okay
this
to be
is perfect.
slow-paced.
This is the
Yeah.
escalation of their dynamic is so good. He has her number in episode 2, like. And given that you have like the Romeo Juliet dynamic of the opposing schools that keeps them apart, kind of like the social status difference, this fucking rules. I adore this. Oh my god, he's so fucking tall. Viewers at home, you have no idea how tall this man is. And at first you go, is she just small? Yes. But he's also fucking tall.
Also,
he's such a large man.
it's like the difference between someone who's like 6'1" and someone who's 5'11". Like imagine that.
Wiki says 190 centimeters.
Okay, help
That
my
is
math.
that is roughly 6. That is a little over 6 feet, I believe.
Thank you.
It's like
Which
I want to say like
Are they-
182
yeah, it's
would
six.
be 6 feet.
It's like almost 6'3".
are they high schoolers?
Yes.
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 It's
Yeah,
6.2
I
feet.
thought so.
They're like second years, I
Six and a quarter
think.
feet, so
He
six-
might
six-
be a first year. She might be a second year.
I
I don't remember.
I don't think we're
Oh.
ever actually. I know we're told his. I don't think we're ever given hers.
Yeah.
So
Oh, maybe
Remember
he
what?
is a
Remember
second
that.
year. I'm trying to think about episode 3 and how they talk about the sports festival. Maybe he is. No, I really enjoy the school dynamic. I think it adds something really interesting as a set piece that gives a nice wedge to the relationship. The only critique I could even try to levy at this show is that when it comes to Rentaro, maybe they've hit us over the head a little too much with him going, I'm judging people the same way I've been judged, and that's not good. They say it a
Yeah.
lot. They say it a lot in the second and third
Yeah.
episode, which is fine because it's a good theme. It just like again, that's the only thing I can think of where I'm like, oh, it's a little overbearing with that. But all the cast is really interested. I'm super excited to dive more into each member of both friend groups, and like, I can only imagine what is going to happen once like you keep adding one extra person every 2-3 episodes who starts to become okay with like commingling, and at some point you just fucking tear down the school walls and it's great. Or you don't, or you subvert my expectations and it's still really good. She's an adorable little hamster, and he's a soft tall boy. I love them. They're great. I don't have anything else to say. Show's beautiful.
Soft boy.
They're just good. It's just a very solid, good romance.
But yeah, our protagonists are both phenomenal. I will say my one gripe in quotation marks with the show is that I don't quite love the side cast yet. Notably, I think Usami, it's the red-haired one you sent the picture of.
He is a
He has gotten a lot of screen time, and boy, am I not the biggest fan of him yet. Again, I think with what we get in 3, I think we're starting to like have him turn and be like, wait,
He's
I'm
gonna be
kind
the
of being
first
a
one.
jackass.
He's gonna be the
So,
first
like,
one to come around.
Yeah, like I think I'll start to like him. I just think so far it felt like he's popped up in all 3 episodes, or maybe not all 3. It feels like he's popped up in all 3 and done the same thing in all 3 of them.
He
Where
does
he just
seem,
is allowed to someone.
He does seem like he's Rentaro's closest friend of the group.
Mhm.
I was about to say again, these main 2, they have like the last like 8 minutes of episode 3 is just the 2 of them talking. God, it's so fucking
So
good.
peak, bro.
It's
Yo,
peak.
Shoutouts to Rentaro's mom for being
Oh,
a goat, by the way.
fuck,
She's incredible.
Let's be honest, they give me
Ricard's
hope
mom
for
is actually
society watching them
Good
interact.
Mom, holy shit.
Fun fact, this was the last show that I watched, so this is like I'm coming fresh off of this. The show is absolute peak in terms of like
You got to finish something
romance
good.
for the season.
Damn.
Yeah. Thank God
peak
Cloverworks just
vibes,
doing another
yeah.
romance. I'm in.
Thanks, Cloverworks.
And for what it's worth, this season we have some studios doing their classic studio show thing this season.
Mhm.
So Cloverworks
Cloverworks.
gets to do it here.
hitting us with the 1, 2, 3 of Dress Up Darling, Rascal, and Fragrant Flower.
God,
Yeah.
please let none of them suffer for this.
Right.
Please let them have cooked on these long enough that we're fine. None of these do the Cloverworks special of turning dog shit in the last 3 episodes. God, I hope not.
Knock on wood.
Yeah.
I pray every day for Cloverworks to just not fuck this up. That would be very not exciting.
Yeah, I can't. If there's somehow any podcast, I don't think there's a single human being alive who's watched this podcast long enough to know this. I cannot help but look at that best friend character with the salmon hair and think of the invaded main character, because oh my god, does it just flashbang me.
Very.
But it
It
reminds-
is very Sakaido pill.
Core. Yeah, but that does just mean that I get reminded of it invaded every week, and that's great. That's an additional notch for
is-
me. I fucking love that shit.
Fair.
Oh boy. Any additional
It's-
thoughts
it's-
on Fragrant Flower?
I want to watch more. Why is it not on Netflix yet? Netflix, what the fuck?
Right?
Yeah, Netflix.
Like,
It's funny because
other
Netflix didn't
than-
do that with the other two shows that it
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank,
different things
thank
with both
God.
of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
which we're gonna
true.
get to. In a
Let's-
sec.
Hey,
crazy.
Michael. Do you have thoughts about clankers?
Oh boy, do I have thoughts about clank. You got clankers and Darwinists, I believe is the
Darwinists.
term they use for the
Yes.
other side.
Both sound offensive in very different ways.
Yeah. Great.
Michael, talk about Leviathan.
Yeah. So, Leviathan.
Michael,
Um,
can you do this with a British accent?
no.
No.
Fake British accent. Please.
I would
please,
mute- I would
please,
mute him.
Please, Michael, please. I needed
So,
him in
Leviathan
the game.
follows two protagonists. That for the first two episodes they're in separate places. We kind of go back and forth between the two. We follow, I believe he's Hungarian or Austrian. He's from the Austro-Hungarian Empire. He's one of them. Named Alec.
Given the context of his family, he's Austrian, Michael.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So he is the only son or only living son or essentially heir to the crown within the Hungarian Empire. His parents, off screen, we don't know how quite this happened. They are dead. And he is currently trying to seek refugee in Sweden. I believe it is, or Switzerland. They might be Switzerland. One of the two. Anyway, one of the SWs. And so he and his two servants, plus a third guy, he's like kind of a servant, but he's like less like direct. They take their walker, which is a essentially big like legged tank, and they start making their way over. And they gotta go there. They get caught up in some bullshit. Because Alex a dumbass. He is a pampered rich kid who does not quite understand how the world works outside of sitting in his daddy's little castle and people doing what he says. So he tries to go talk to the Germans at one point and almost gets everyone killed, including getting one of the people killed. Because he's stupid. They eventually make their way to the safe house in Switzerland. While this has been happening, it's just harder to kind of do it back and forth. We follow the other character, Dylan Sharp. She is a wonderful little bean. She wants to join the British Air Force. Notably, you can only really join them. This is a retelling, but in an alternate dimension where silly things occur, like World War I, essentially.
Yes.
It is just World War One.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
But instead of zeppelins, we have whales. Yeah,
This is
so-
World War One. If it was steampunk and biopunk, we'll talk
Yeah,
about
it's
what
World War
that
I
means.
is awesome.
Yeah.
But we follow Dylan, who is trying to be a British, part of the British Air Force. We see, and she disguises herself as a male. Apparently good enough that no one questions it.
Wow. Most people don't.
No, again, except for the singular female other female we meet. So she goes to like Air Force like recruitment day. They put her up on this big floating jellyfish. It's like their equivalent of hot air balloons. They go, you don't need the way back down. Proceeds to get caught in a storm. And is now aboard the Leviathan, which is a like really big blimp. It's essentially built within a whale. We learn like the inner workings of how this thing works. It's sick. It's like a really cool way to kind of like this world, awesome. And we learn essentially we kind of learn through bits and pieces of people talking. There's two big groups. You have you have essentially what they call each other, the Darwinists and Clankers.
Yes.
Darwinists
For reference,
are the people who use the animals and do stuff with them. Clankers being the people who use robots.
if you don't mind, Michael, for those who actually know World War One, the Clankers are the Central Powers, the Darwinists are the Triple Entente.
Yeah. I think so.
So yeah. But yeah, episode 3. At the end of episode 2, the Leviathan goes down. And ends up crashing in the mountains right next to where Alec is stationed. Okay, kind of sitting. And he goes to help the people of the Leviathan because he's a dumbass. Once again, Alec's a fucking moron, but we love him for it because then he gets to meet Best Girl.
He almost blows everybody up.
Correct. So he goes to like help them. He gets there in time. He ends up like helping Dylan from a part of like an avalanche collapsing and fucking demolishing her. Yeah, to then then pull a gun on Dylan. Dylan go, "Don't shoot that, you fucking Martin." He goes, "Why?" And she goes, "Because if you do, we'll explode." Because the way things float is through hydrogen, and there's a lot of hydrogen leaking out into the air right now. And if that were to light up bad things, there wouldn't be a mountain anymore.
It's hydrogen, and it'd be a bomb. One might
Yeah.
say a hydrogen bomb. It would end the war.
Yeah.
The Great War.
Yeah.
No, they're in the middle of the fucking mountains. We're not in the war.
Yeah, they're in the middle of the fucking Swiss mountains.
Yeah, but the
It might
Germans.
speed up the war. You
Yeah, but
never know.
the British would lose one of their biggest like weapon ship
True.
monster things.
But yeah, we
Anyway,
get,
sorry.
this then leads into the different like leaders in charge of the two sides. Alec and Dylan are just kind of here along for the ride. Them going, "Hey, this is what's gonna happen. Yes, we're on opposite sides, but also you helped us. I don't want to kill you because that's rude."
How polite of them.
And realistically, bad things would happen if either tried to kill the other one very quickly. So they just decided to kind of not do that. And I don't quite remember where everyone gets placed at the end of it.
Episode ends with them,
yeah.
with the Germans attacking them, I believe.
And-
Yeah.
And a bomb falling on top of them right as
Yeah.
the screen goes to black.
Fun.
If
you are interested, viewer, all of this show is out and available on Netflix right now.
There's also a book.
Yeah, let's play a game. John, Austin, this is based on a novel. When do you think this novel was written?
1915.
I want to say late 80s.
2009.
Oh.
It's a 2009 novel. Crazy. It has 2
That's not bad.
sequels as well. It's part of a trilogy. So, biopunk. If those not familiar, it just means that there are biological weapons here, which are the animals. They're rad as fuck. Oh my god,
Yeah,
this setting is
It's
so
so
cool.
cool.
The way
Like,
they talk about everything related to it is so sick.
Yeah, like them explaining how the whale airship works is such a cool bit of like, yeah, we're using parasites. Lots of
And I love the way they get around it being like a character explaining it to us is Dylan's just a fucking nerd.
yeah,
And she just wants to tell everyone everything she could possibly explain about these animals because she loves them that much.
Is there a non-dub option for this show?
I haven't seen
Probably
shouldn't be.
is.
There shouldn't
correct,
be.
correct.
There
The only,
shouldn't be.
the
There
only
should not
right
be.
way to watch
This
this
shit
is
is
dub.
fucking peak
we-
as a dub.
We had to pause the watch
Jumping spiders.
Multiple
because
times.
because of the
Arkansas spiders.
extremely British accent just coming out of nowhere.
Aggressively British.
I heard her say barking spiders at
Barking
least 6
spiders.
times. At least 6 times.
Oh, more than that.
I also don't
Lame.
think. I also don't think
So
we've
fucking
been
good.
given Dylan's actual name, which is really cool as a
I think
character
it's
thing.
Pablo.
Thank you. I am so excited for everybody in this story to figure out that Dylan is a girl, except for Alec. I'm so excited for there just to be a room of people for like Dylan to like have to change for some reason, and everybody to be really polite and turn away, and Alex just goes, "What's going on, guys? I don't." He's just a cool dude. He's my best
just a
friend.
dick, bro.
He's my best friend. Why are we being weird about it?
This is my Marxist friend, or sorry, my Darwin friend. Wrong one.
Let me say that knowing that this is a novel and part of a trilogy, and having the setup of male prince character, female cross-dressing nerd. Oh my god, I'm gonna love this. Oh, dude, I can see all the directions this is gonna go, and they're all great.
So, I watched the last 2 episodes of this today with Cody in the room, and he asked me, I think, 3 separate times. So this is a yaoi, right? I went, no. And he's like, why not? Because one of them's cross-dressing. He's like, that doesn't change anything.
Hey, we don't need to have the yaoi BL discussion because the summer Hikaru died it sets the internet
exactly.
on
Oh
fire.
my
I don't
God.
know if you know about this. The internet does not like having that conversation about the summer Hikaru died.
Really?
In my
we-
timeline,
There are a lot of people who say, given everything else it does, it cannot be classified as a BL. They're wrong. We'll get there.
They're so wrong.
We'll get there. Last-
actually, he's not a boy. He's like a void monster. So, actually,
last
Not
thing I'll say about Leviathan, for me, so happy they meet in episode 3.
Yes.
Not because I think either side is uninteresting or boring, but because splitting your time between them can take away from each side. And having them together, at least for a bit in the story, even if they separate again, it's nice to have them in the same place for a while.
It also just would be so. I think it would be really, really awkward to just like tell two different stories, like
Yeah.
two very different stories by this point in the show.
One other thing, I know I said last thing, but if you aren't watching the credit sequences, you are missing out on the really cool like watercolor arts that they do that I have to assume were released somewhere with the novel at some point in time, where they just do scenes from the show, but like how they were portrayed in the book, which is really cool. Not that I've read the novel to know, but that's clearly like they're clearly more based off like the original concept designs for what the novel was. Those are all really rad.
Like I said, this show's really rad with its world building. Obviously, it's got a lot of
It helps you know the
what is it
world.
called? Historic fiction.
Yeah.
To use for influence, right? But I have to ask everybody: at what point in episode 1 did you go, "Oh, he's just the son of Franz Ferdinand"?
When they said he was assassinated.
Yeah. So I saw the crosses and I was like, "Is that Austria-Hungary?" And then
like
I heard your parents have been assassinated, and I went, "Oh, okay."
which is crazy because they're gonna be on the side of like the bad guys, I guess. But like, it's very weird. It's gonna be this weird forbidden crossing. For me, like the best character in the show is that woman scientist.
Yes,
she is just
she's incredible.
awesome.
She's great.
He's wonderful.
She's just
So
like
good.
she's gonna play matchmaker. She's hiding the identities of both of them. She's already put all the pieces together like 3 hours ago, like when they first met. Like
Dylan walks in that room and she clocks her immediately. She's like, okay. She's like, I respect the hustle. I would have done the same.
she's like, all right, Mulan, get in here.
She knows
We're go-
everything, and it's just gonna be so fun to see like how much she acts or divulges about
I
it.
just love Dylan just like accidentally stumbling her way into the middle of the war. Like just like happened to be in military training and then hit one storm cloud and panicked and went, fuck it, release valve it is. Whee! And now it's just smack dab in the middle of like the center of the start of the war. And it's just like, well, you know, cue the laugh track. But you know, the show's really cool.
You could not pay me
I
to
fucking-
get on a hot air balloon jellyfish.
Every time she is on screen, I'm just ready for some painful British that is just gonna make me fucking bawl my eyes out. And every time I'm rewarded for that patience because it happens on cue.
Oi,
and it is just-
Clanker!
Oh, Clanker's over there.
So what is
Right, ho.
What is funny?
And then they come in and they're like, would you like some tea or some alcohol? And they're like, I'm a lady. And I'm like, what does that have to do with anything? I'm like, I don't understand this.
I do also oh, I was thinking of a thing and now I've forgotten it. It'll come back to
sorry.
me. Oh, I also did think that this was like an older novel because of the fact that I saw the mech design and went, that's very like old Final Fantasy mech design. I'm like,
Yes, very
I was like, this could either be inspired by
Wars.
or have inspired that in some way. And then I read it and I looked it up and went, what do you mean 2009? That's crazy.
What do you mean, like last summer? But no, the show's obviously deep rooted in history. It's got that like interesting twist on it. It's almost like it's a weird comparison, but to me, it's like it feels like kind of like an isekai where like they take the same thing and they just kind of twist it a little bit. In that aspect, where it's like, hey, historical fiction, we're gonna make it like steampunk, you know, or what Sean said was
Biopunk. It's both.
Biopunk.
It is both
Biopunk.
because it does the mech
Um,
stuff that makes it steampunk.
but it's like it's very interesting. Bro needs to grow a pair of balls real fast, or else he's gonna get a lot more people killed in this war. But
If you think
it-
really,
it's gonna-
really hard, it's just
but-
3D Saga.
but guys, it's gonna be a war. It'll be a great war. It'll be so great we don't need a need for any other wars.
So we didn't say it yet. This show is CGI because it's by Orange, so of course it is. But as we've
It's fucking
established,
beautiful
I was
CGI
gonna
because
say,
it's by Orange.
as we've established on
Yes.
this podcast, Orange the fucking go. What can we say?
very Ghibli style
Yeah.
to it.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
I think this is a CGI that a lot of people would probably watch and went, "Oh, I didn't even think about that. That it's CGI."
This would make a fucking insane movie, though. By the way, like,
I wouldn't be surprised if you could tell me it has a movie and I believe you probably. I think it's really cool to have a 2009 novel anime adaptation. Like I think that is really not from Japan. Like that is a really interesting choice. I'm very interested in like the behind the scenes on that.
I
Okay.
also wonder if we're like gonna get like how much if they're just gonna adapt the first book or if they're gonna eventually adapt all three or what we're gonna get.
Yeah,
out of that.
I'm very curious about how. I also curious how far this gets. Dude, who knows? Like it really depends how long the novel is, how you adapt. Like that's an odd thing to do. It would be rad to get more of it. That would be really cool.
something World War One length joke, something.
Not to fire at Mason, but to me this is just a far more enjoyable like Requiem of the Rose King kind of thing where you take like a historical piece and like, but then you just you inject cool genre
make it
into it
sick.
to inject like if Requiem of the Rose King was like Fate,
Oh,
it'd be
God.
so better.
Oh God!
Yeah.
It just like clicked for me. I'm like, wait, I know what they're talking about. Oh God!
Yeah, you were on
Yeah.
the podcast for
Oh,
Requiem of the
I
Rose
hated
King.
it. I
That was
hated
the
it
first
too.
bad season I had.
I don't think that bad.
Lots of parallels by the way
Yeah, it
on
was.
the
For me, it was.
lots of
When did
parallels
the
for
first game
the
in a couple weeks.
lots of parallels for the
I-
cross dressing thing too there.
But yeah, true. But no, yeah, it's like I'm very interested to see where this goes. Michael, did you have any thoughts on this show?
He loves it.
Yeah, that's a good show. I had a great time. I love our two protagonists as much as Alex a dumbass. I think the two of them
He's-
are great.
Our dumbass.
This was really
Correct.
close to breaking my top 3. Like this, I really
Yeah.
want. Like a lot of the times we're like very clear top 3, bottom 3, middle pack. I don't feel that way about this season. Like the
Yeah.
top 3 for me is very nebulous. There's a lot of good stuff that can really work its way up and down depending on if a couple of these shows want to clear up a couple of things and straighten out where they're at with some stuff. Some of these could be bangers the whole way through.
Yeah. This is a show I need more time with to really like get into it because we're still kind of introducing the plot still.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
Like
this
we're just meeting people.
and this show cuts off its episodes at the worst points, the worst fucking points. That's gonna
Yes.
be the biggest thing for me. And I imagine it's because it might not have been planned for you to watch it week by week because it's a full season drop. They might just want you to binge it. We're not doing that, but it's gonna.
It's just dense too.
Yeah, I don't think
like-
it's gonna hurt it, but oh boy, is it gonna like this is a terrible cliffhanger.
Hey guys, you watched Arcane season 1?
No.
No,
Let's
Mason, nobody watches that. That's League of Legends. Ew, yucky.
let's
Really?
let's head into our next show. It's me. I get to talk. Good fun. Hey guys, welcome to the start of Sean tries to talk about his shows the summer season. I get to have lots of fun times here. So, the summer Hikaru died. Follows our main character, not Hikaru. We are following Yoshiki, who is Hikaru's best friend and perhaps only friend. This is complicated, maybe to a degree. And we open with them outside like a country, like they're in the countryside. They live in like a small mountain village that seems to commute to a larger like town where they go to school. They ride their bikes fucking everywhere. It's the dead of summer, but also not because they're in school. Japan. And Hikaru and Yoshiki are talking about Hikaru says some stuff and Yoshiki's like, you got the wording wrong on that. And then he looks Hikaru dead in the eyes and goes, so you're not Hikaru, right? Like when Hikaru went into the mountains, you're something else. You might not even be human. And Hikaru's face peels away and there's a strange void entity inside of it and he goes, but you love me, right? And Yoshiki goes, yeah, I guess, sure. I'll fucking take this, I guess. And that is the story hook for the show. That is it. we see a little bit that Hikaru went up to the mountains. He fell, rolled down, died, and this entity creature found him and entered his body. And now has been living as him. He has Hikaru's memories, but doesn't quite get things right all the time. It is very much like a newborn in some ways, in that it's learning a lot of how to be human. In addition to this, in episode 1, we get an introduction of, like, a guy who goes around with a hamster to investigate paranormal activity. And we find out in episode 2 that he is getting called by the villagers to come check out the town and the surrounding area, because the older people here seem to know that there is something funky where they live. And we start to learn over the course of the 3 episodes that, like, people have known for a long time that there is a dangerous entity that exists within this mountain range, and that they have taken precautions over years to, like, not have it fuck their shit up. And they clearly think it's starting to fuck their shit up. In episode 1, Hikaru and Yoshiki are passing by an older woman at her house who's, like, having a mental breakdown, screaming about things coming for her. And then after the boys go home, something, who knows what it could be, murders her brutally in her house. Who could say what it could? It have been Hikaru? Who knows? We don't see it. It might not be. It might be a
What do you mean?
different.
She just tried to suffocate herself with her own hand. That's,
It
what do you
might
mean? That's
it's
what
totally
happened.
normal. It might be a
Yeah,
different thing.
Sometimes old people do that, Sean. I don't know.
Episode 2, their school friends are kind of they're talking about the woman death, as you do in any murder that happens in a small town. You talk about the fog, you talk about a body hanging from a telephone pole, and then you fuck off and do other things. And in this case, one of the jock friends is like, "Hey, I have to pass through a tunnel, but the tunnel's closed right now, so I have to pass through the forest, and it creeps me the fuck out. I swear I see things. Will you guys come with me?" And they all go, "Fine." Particularly because Hikaru goes, "This sounds cool," and Yoshiki goes, "Sure, I guess I'll go." They go through the forest and nothing bad happens. Cool. And then they have to go back without him, and then bad things happen. Yoshiki looks off in the distance, and there's this weird creature just limbering with long arms and, like, a long head, and just kind of snaps its neck towards him. And Hikaru pulls Yoshiki to look at him and goes, "Hey, stop looking at shit in this forest. Look at me. Leave things to me." And then a loud snapping noise happens, and Hikaru gets a nosebleed. And they go, "Problem solved. Nothing strange in these woods." And then I believe at the end of this episode, Yoshiki meets an older woman who at the supermarket who clocks him immediately and goes, "Something's wrong. Something's wicked in your world. If you need to talk to somebody, scan my QR code and text me, child. I can help you. We can talk about this. Is it also a romance problem? It seems like it's something with somebody you love." And then episode 3 is entirely focused on Hikaru and Yoshiki's dynamic. Yoshiki heads over to his house. Sorry, before this, they're in the gym closet at school. We got a lock to the gym closet scene, but instead of being locked, they purposely have chosen to go there. And Hikaru goes, "Hey, you want to be inside me?" And Yoshiki goes, "Yes, but what?" And then he fucking lets him stick his entire hand into his torso, into the alien goo, and crazy shit happens. And then they think
bro.
about that for a while, and they think about that for a
It's
while,
just
and
funneling, bro. Did you see the chest hole? It's just
Yoshiki,
funneling.
Definitely not like fooling around. We promise.
Yoshiki then
The
heads
part-
over
the
to
part where he
Hikaru's
just goes
house.
in and it's just like, "Woo!" And he's like, "What's woo?" Like-
Yoshiki goes over to Hikaru's house. They reminisce on some of the old days that really only Yoshiki can actually remember, because they're just videotape memories for Hikaru, because he's not really Hikaru. And he decides then and there that this is weird and he should go talk to that woman and figure out what's going on. And the woman's like, "Yeah, so it's probably a thing that came down from the mountains and is very bad, and you should probably put some distance between it. You should not let it into your life. I maybe have made a similar mistake to this when it came to losing my husband. I know love is difficult." And then she pauses and goes, "I don't know, are you talking about a girl? No judgment. Interesting." And then Hikaru finds out that he's talking to an old woman, and gets very and starts to panic that Yoshiki doesn't like him. We don't worry about the love thing. Doesn't like him as a start, and is like wants to leave him alone, and expresses how much he desperately needs Yoshiki in his life to exist. And the two of them kind of have a fight, and all the friends are like, "Yo, what's going on here?" And then eventually Yoshiki thinks about it, and he realizes Hikaru never once, the old Hikaru, the one before he died, never once said "I love you" or like seemed to even remotely start to reciprocate my feelings of love. Is it really so bad if I give the Space Goo entity some intimate connection? Maybe it's fine if I'm here for him. Maybe he just needs a friend. And that's about where episode 3 ends. Hey guys, the tone of this show fucking rules. Oh my god. I think this show to me, I had read a little bit of the manga. We are past the point already that I read, because I read literally a little bit of it. Oh my god, it makes me uneasy the entire time watching it, and I love it.
It's so good. Like it's so tense all the time.
So, the reason why this is low and why it's going to probably stay low for me on my personal PR is not because it's a bad show. I think objectively it is a very awesome show. It's very cool what the show does. It's very intriguing, like how it's framed, and like the tension, like you said, is immaculate for the show. The problem is I fucking hate this genre, and it makes me so uncomfortable, and I just can't I can't do it. I can't do horror. It just doesn't sit well with me. And I know this is like more suspense and like thrillery than like, you know, quote unquote horror. But like for me,
I think it's fair to call this horror.
I don't like it.
Horror.
This is body horror.
Dystopic, and it's like body horror, and it's like gore, and I'm just like, I can't.
It's
like,
also
it gives me the ick, and I know that's the point, and that's why I'm not gonna like try to purposely hate on the show and kill it, because I know objectively it's super fucking good at what it's doing. It's fantastic. But for me, I hate this genre so much with a passion, and I'm gonna fucking grin and bear it because I know it's fucking good.
But John,
God, am I gonna hate watching this every week?
John, there's romance in it.
That's great. That's gay. I'm
like
2 seasons deep in Uma Musume and a movie now. I watched enough Yuri in the last month. I'm good with it. I'm good.
Also,
that's my soapbox. I'm gonna put it away real quick.
A thing about this show is that it can be a little hard to parse. Camera shots, framing, everything about it is meant to jar you. It's meant to highlight things that you aren't sure how you're supposed to interpret the shot it's given you of ants carrying away a dead card. What does it mean to you? It keeps showing up. What the fuck does it mean? They have a lot of really fun camera shots and angles. My other show, when I talk about it, does a lot of this too. I think Summer Hikaru Died is a lot easier to follow its direction. I think its direction makes a lot of sense. Everything about it feels very purposeful. And if you check out this show and you go, how the fuck does this work in a manga? It does. Trust me, a lot of this shit is like almost shot for shot in ways.
And I assume they don't just have a flat PNG of a plate of raw chicken in the manga. That I don't imagine they have. But you know what? They could. That's the thing. They could just have not like a drawn pictures. They flat digital compilers.
What I think really rules about this is not only does it set the horror tone really well and the uncomfortability, it also really hits you are in rural Japan, in the mountains, like in the dead of summer, like you can feel the heat.
The people are just fucking weird.
Absolutely. Some of the strangest beings you will find, and there's an alien here. Something.
Yep.
It's something.
Honestly, the alien's probably like the second or third weirdest thing there.
Here's your big America parfait.
Oh my god. The whole scene
I almost grabbed that as a screenshot. There's a waiter saying, "Here's your big America parfait," or whatever it was called. The show's really fucking good at what it's doing. I'm not normally a fan of horror, and I will say that the direct horror scenes, like the end of episode 1, when Hikaru goes in and unalives an individual, or in episode 2 when
you don't know it was him. Could be any.
In episode
could be any
episode
entity.
2, when I don't remember the protagonist's name, when he looks into the
Yoshi.
woods and sees the head,
Oh,
and we start
dude.
seeing the head wave back and forth. I was like, I don't like that. Actually, can you
Also-
not do that again?
The fact that it's like leaning into the Japanese like folklore horror stories as well, and it's not just like mountain spirits are angry. Like we're
Yeah.
kind of getting a whole bunch of different ones, and I like that.
Also does a good job getting diet. Like, this is one of those shows where you feel you feel the dialect as you watch it. Like you pick up on it because you're so rural that like everybody talks in like kind of different ways. It's also really important because Hikaru gets stuff wrong in the dialect, and Yoshiki is like working to correct him to not get caught out about it. It is crazy that no one else has been like, "Yo, Hikaru's really weird lately."
Especially like we see his parents are, or at least his mom is still there.
Yeah, his dad's
Which is-
not.
Well,
His dad.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
his dad also went into the mountains at some point.
He seemed
Yeah.
he seemed to do a lot of upkeep to stop the stuff from going bad. Is kind of how they
Yeah.
imply.
Mhm.
which is why it's going really bad.
Yeah.
Well, because the idea is that Hikaru is still very similar to how he had been.
Yeah.
Like
He is just
on
a
a surface
goofball.
level. It's just that
If you're not closely
To
tuned to
Yoshiki,
him
who
as
has-
a person,
like Yoshiki's been hanging out with him. He's hanging out with him so much that like
He's in love with it.
the smallest things are different, and that's the problem.
When you love a guy,
It's the little thing. Yeah,
so here's a guy.
he doesn't remember that night. That night,
One
no,
night
too.
night. The whole interesting to see because like he's having these like Vietnam flashbacks of like the like possessed version of him will say something and it's like 1-for-1 because it's just using the memories from the original Yukar
master manipulator.
like, and so it's very much like he's not like having unique thoughts and ideas and productions. He's just having a lot of like reciprocated previous ones. That it's like almost like that's what triggered him to go, hey, this isn't right because this isn't the person I know. He's just pretending to be the person I know, and that's just wrong.
There's also
But
a lot
but
of
still
stuff
also just totally getting manipulated by it. So
and tons of stuff going on that I didn't even talk about. Yoshiki's family is not healthy in the slightest. There's a lot of shit going on in that house. He actively has like some type of medicine at his bedside always. They haven't said what it is yet. I wouldn't be surprised if it's sleeping pills. Given how he seems to be. They only lightly introduced. He wasn't in episode 3 at all, but we do have like the guy the Ghostbuster guy, the yokai hunter,
Yeah.
Ghostbuster.
with his weird hamster.
Yeah.
I will say this because I don't think it matters. He is not in the first couple chapters I read in the manga, which I think means they're pulling.
moving faster.
Well, I think what it means is they probably introduce him later, and instead of going, let's retread the story beats from early in the story, where we reintroduce him at the same time, just introduce him chronologically where he would be. Which I think makes sense if you're trying to tell a narrative anime adaptation, as opposed to just being like, we're gonna go straight manga, panel for panel. Because I think it fits really. I don't think you would know. Because you just cut to that fucker and he's busting down walls.
I will say too, it's like it's very the show's setting up that like animals have a keen sense of like these monsters basically because we
Yeah.
saw the dogs and like the cats and other animals being like wonked out by him, the possessed boy. So yes, I watched a lot of anime today, guys. I'll be honest.
It's
I watched
the
a lot
name
today.
of the
I'm
show!
with you.
That's the
That's
reason
the funny
I
part
remembered
about
it.
it.
It's weird.
the
That's
name
all,
of the
Like
show.
his name and not Yoshiki's.
Because
That's
it's
just
like-
the
For some
name
reason,
of
like,
the
I'm
show.
trying to call him
is-
Yoshiki because I would think that would be the main character, but that's stupid because of course the main character is the one that's possessed and like a monster.
I mean,
Like they both are, but like
it's tough to say
It's not-
because in one way you could say
it's not
Hikaru's
the
the main
smirk
character,
when
but,
Yukaru's friend died.
Yeah.
or
but we are the story is very much following Yoshiki more than it is Hikaru right now. It also seems to very much be implying this is gonna wind up being like a parasitic, dynamic.
relationship.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, that too, but. Ooh, I
Also
love
showing
it.
that like the rest of like the kids in the town people are slowly picking up on something off, and that it's like, hey, this monster being here is attracting other monsters. It's gonna be a problem. Anyways, good luck with your boyfriend chest hole situation over there.
Yeah, that's the most concerning thing here. Totally, Not definitely not the parasites.
Definitely.
No, don't worry about that. Definitely not an old lady committing quote unquote suicide by shoving her own fist down her throat, according to authorities.
Just normal mountain behavior out here, guys.
Right.
She was a little crazy, to be fair. So I mean, it's not a question.
I mean, her husband did die a while ago, right? Yeah, but guys, come the fuck on.
Guys,
She shoved a
old
fist
people
down her
die.
mouth.
Old people die.
Do you
Oh.
guys not shove your fist down your mouth on a
Austin,
typical
shut the
basis?
fuck up.
Not that I'm gonna talk about on the
No.
podcast. Hey,
It's gotta be a
Austin,
cultural thing.
Look, that's not. Never mind.
Neither here nor there.
we're moving out of the yaoi now, okay?
Putting
And
that
into the
to
chest hole,
side.
baby. Here we
but we
go.
are gonna continue our dark tone. Hey, Austin.
All right, so we start off with a very nice shot of like what we assume to be the main protagonist, Alicia, just doing something like with her dad, and then she's like, I'm gonna be a great hero, and then and then we wake up in a very Skyrim opening.
It really is.
Where she's in a cart with
God, it's so
12
fucking is.
with 12 other people who are like, we're going to go we're gonna finally conquer the
Dark Beast.
the Darklands. We're gonna kill the Dark Beast. We're gonna kill this Lord, and we're gonna do this for the sake of humanity. And then they go, and then they get their fucking shit rocked. All 13 of them turn into approximately 72 separate pieces, combined. And then the Dark Lord, Demon King, whatever you want to call it, Clevatess, who just slaughtered all of these people, was like, that was kind of offensive what you did to me. I'm going to kill humanity because you did this. So he goes, and then he storms the kingdom where which basically commissioned the heroes to fight him, and he just completely destroys the town, leaves the king alive, and it's like, hey, why'd you do this? If you answer correctly, or adequately, I won't kill the rest of humanity. And then the king does, the smartest thing, and says, an abomination like you wouldn't understand. So he also turns it from 1 to 2 pieces. And as he's leaving, this character who this dying character who definitely doesn't look like Otto's anime personification, is crushed beneath like some rubble, and convinces Clevatess to take this whining baby with them and prove him wrong about humanity. And he's like, this is stupid. Why would I ever do such a thing? Fine, I'll do it.
Ah, shit, the baby is kind of innocent. Okay.
Mom literally
Okay.
says, "You fucking won't," and he's like, "Fuck, you're right, I will." Damn it.
And
She tricks me.
And then he's like getting increasingly annoyed with having to care for the baby. So he takes Alicia, revives her, puts her back into one piece, says, "Yeah, by the way, you are now reanimated. Breastfeed this baby." And she's like, "I can't do that. I'm a virgin. What the fuck are you talking about? Also, why did you do this to me?" And so they start and they're like, "Okay, I guess we got to go find a wet nurse for this child." And then they go and get attacked by bandits. He does transform into humanoid to make it less conspicuous, and then he finds out that he just can't that he is significantly weaker and not used to the form. So they get jumped by bandits, and then they go to the bandit encampments, where there is a lot of heinous things being committed in the encampment. Most of all, meeting Nell, who is able to breastfeed the child named Luna, right? Yeah, Luna, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
The head of the bandits recognizes her as one of the heroes, and says, "Yeah, go find all of these sacred artifacts that all the Heidenins made and that you used to have, because we're selling knockoffs, but if we can get the real one after all of their jazz got destroyed, we will make so much money. And and she's like, no, I don't want to do that. She's like, yeah, you got no choice. By the way, there's also this like water pit where there's a legendary sword in there, and if you jump in there, you'll get jumped by a bunch of like man-eating giant piranhas, things.
Okay, but they're cute though. They're kind of adorable.
The Dark Beast.
They are kind of cute. I will
They
say.
got just enough eyes that they're kind of cute.
Yeah. A couple more, a couple less, but
I mean,
like
it's a little
just the right amount.
disarming, but
Yeah. So, Clevatess, or Clen as he goes by in his adult, or in his humanoid form, basically asks we get kind of like a divergence into like two different parts of it, where Alicia's off doing one of her own thing, and Clen, who and Luna basically are trying to convince Nell to just like join them and be a wet nurse, and he doesn't really understand that people aren't really leaving, and there's no and Nell should not trust the word of another slave to leave. So
let alone a child.
Nell blabs and basically gets fed to a troll, and then Clen goes and is about to fight the boss to try to effectively resurrect Nell and like put an end to this whole operation. On the other hand, Alicia is drags a guy and jumps off a cliff, basically abusing the shit out of her immortality. Her bones just get like
dude.
disgustingly fixed back into place after jumping like 300 feet off of a cliff. And then she just fights her way through like 50 people, and then says, "You know what? I can't fight all of these people. I'm gonna feed you all to the fish people by just toppling the scaffolding as you try to climb after me." While she's now hiding in a barrel, trying to get the legendary sword at the bottom of the lake.
But there's a bigger fish down there. There's a bigger fish.
Very big fish.
There are. Oh, yeah, give your piece first, Austin. It's your show. You
Okay.
have it the highest out of anybody, which I don't think is unfair to it.
Yeah, so there are obviously some problems. Like, there are a lot of very crude like boob jokes, and it's just like, yeah, show me your boobs, because he just does not understand the concept of like human decency. Could do a little bit less. It could do less with that. However, I think the setup, and I think the way, like, the attitude of Alicia is like really, really funny. Really, she's a very, very fun main character.
She's fun.
Clevatess, on the other hand, is a little bit like dry. It's a little bit better in the sub, but I just like quick checks between the sub and the dub. It's a little bit better in the sub. It's very it's really boring in the in the dub.
How's Nell in the sub?
I didn't check that for the sub. I was just checking specifically for Clem.
Because oh boy, does the voice actress kill it in capturing the type of person she is? And man, is that maybe... We watched a lot of dark shit and a lot of crazy stuff in two of the other shows we've talked about. Perhaps the hardest to stomach thing is Nell's story in episode 2. Oh my...
Yeah.
There is casually the line where Nell goes, and then I had 2 more stillboards to make 3, and I went, fucking Christ, show. Oh my god.
So that kind of leads into like my whole point on this show, which is there are notably a couple of shows above it, namely a show that's probably not as good as this show, which is With You in the Rain. But unfortunately, that is the comfort show I have to watch after this one, because this show's such a fucking bummer, dude. This show is so dark and sad and just the worst of people.
But, and here's my
But
caveat, but he's a giant dark beast carrying a baby around, and that's the silver lining we need.
We did go
Yeah.
straight from like kingdom at war with monsters to acquire new land into the worst of humankind immediately afterwards. And it's like, we went from blood and gore to slavery and depression. Awesome.
And I think it's really funny how Alicia's like, yeah, these guys are like actually just the scum of the earth. Please don't let this be a reflection of humanity, because this is about as low as you can get.
And yet for me, there are a couple of moments, even with some of the bandits, that I actually find really funny. The two guards,
bandits.
dude,
two are
the
great.
two guys who like parade her around are some of my favorite characters. They take her in to meet the boss, who is like clearly not their original boss. Like, he got here probably by killing the first guy. Because they joke around about like what to call him, and then he goes, "Yeah, so you're gonna go get these relics for us to sell." And the two of them look at each other and goes, "Boss, she's the hero. Shouldn't she be doing something more important?" And he goes, "What the fuck do you mean by that?" And that is perhaps the funniest thing on the earth, where two bandits go, "Boss, she should go, like, let us expand territory by defeating the Dark Beast. What are we doing? What are we doing keeping her here?" I adore them. It's a shame they're gonna fucking die.
Oh yeah.
That's talking about the bad guy too, because he's an awesome villain. He's actually smart.
Yeah,
and like
he's-
very like creative. He creates his own version of magic through using like certain
Technology.
insects and like technology and like very crudely made stuff. But it's like he's an incredibly smart villain, right? And like that's awesome. Because it makes it so much more interesting when he gets fucking murdered brutally by this beast. Ignore my pronunciation there. But I just
I do get it though. Like, this show is very dark. I guess like the other element to it for me is that I know this kind of show can be so much worse. I'm incredibly happy in the 3 episodes we got there was no actual rape scene. Holy shit. I'm so sorry that has to be a bar, but it is for this type of fantasy. Oh man, have I been down enough roads where that is not something they shy away from, and they get a little close. Thankfully, the guy who's like, "I can smell your naked body," immediately gets his entire body eviscerated by a mountain. They fall, she's falling, and in the background, bam, hits a rock, gone.
boom splat curse sploosh.
The show does some interesting things, like its flashbacks have this weird grain filter over it that's really weird. It's interesting, it's kind of neat. It made Michael and I think there was something wrong with our Crunchyroll quality on the video player. Because you open with it and you go, "This looks a little low res, guys. What are we doing here? Is this what the whole thing's gonna look like?" And then you go to the present, it's a little better. Man, I am so interested about her father, and it is absolutely because there is a scene in the opening where he is fighting one of the head generals of this huge army, and I want to know what the context of that OP shot is, and I might never find out. Shoutouts to an hour-long first episode to get all of the fantasy lore bullshit and world building out of the way out the gate. They just go, "Here's our map, here's our people, here's the races, here's a guy who murders an entire kingdom. Moving on."
It is a interesting way to start it.
Yeah.
To go, "Yeah, we're gonna do that." Yeah, and like none of that's gonna matter probably ever for a while.
Yeah, so we're gonna
Don't
let
worry
Marvel's
about that.
Kingdoms completely off the map and then go from there. So you guys cool with that?
Yeah.
Luna being a boy is really weird to me because the name Luna, it feels very
And like the
gendered
pink
to me.
hair,
Yeah, the
too.
pink hair. But who am I to judge?
Also, my thing about the show too is like, it's like
We're gonna time
the
skip
woman.
almost.
They
certainly,
mention
by
like the heir to the crown, like the princess heir dies, right? We know this baby is like royal crown, but I guess that is not the princess because it's a boy, but like also the woman that died might have been, but might not have been, but like
She definitely wasn't royal blood because the hair's not right.
yes. So we just assume like the actual princess is dead somewhere in the rubble.
Yeah,
Probably.
like they have to have the pink hair probably.
That auto lookalike was probably just like a caretaker or a maid or something.
Yeah, that's what I'm guessing. Like a what you call it. But like also they were like kind of a child, so it's very weird. Like because it looked like an adult more so than when like Clevatess transformed into the person, right?
Yeah.
And so it's just like it's very like interesting choice show, but here we are.
There's a couple of things here that I could very see. If you've been around the genre of fantasy a lot, you're like, yeah, I've seen this. You hit a lot of your check boxes. You have a strong entity taking a lesser form that mimics a girl who's died. Hi, slime. Neat to see you here. Just be like that sometimes. I am interested in this. This is certainly there's an element to this that like. It just hasn't. It isn't quite as good as some other things, but it's still interesting and good enough that it has my attention. Also,
Yeah,
it's
I just don't quite like this as much as the other things.
yeah, it's ending songs by Ellie Goulding. Interesting choice. What the fuck are we doing here? What is anime now? Fucking One Republic doing 2 Kaiju number 8 endings.
So
An anime ending and opening can be whatever the hell you want it to be now.
Ellie Goulding. So crazy. I didn't clock that by the voice. I clocked that because I watched the credit sequence and went, "What do you mean her name's there?"
That's a name I haven't heard since 2015. What the fuck are you talking about?
Do we have additional thoughts we want to talk about?
not much else to add to.
No, like the show is good, but I feel like it is such a bummer that I will get to the point where I will vote this off before other shows that probably should go off sooner, just because, damn, depressing.
See,
The
but
show
if we
is
get rid
good.
of all the dark, depressing shows, then we have too many lighthearted ones. We have to start killing
Yeah.
those for no reason.
What do you mean?
I
Hikaru's
agree.
been here for a
I
while.
also I think I like Gachiakuta a little bit more when it comes to the dark, depressing shows. But we're also only 3 episodes in, so
And it does like give a little bit of a tone where it's like it's like trending toward like being less depressing,
yeah.
which is like at least some consolation. I'm just like wondering how long that's going to last.
And then you get the bit at
it's
the end of
good, but
episode 3
problematic.
where he just goes, "Oh, don't worry, go comfort her in her final moments," and I'm like, you're not gonna like help."
Right.
You can use dark magic powers to heal her too. No, you're just gonna go find new titties for your baby to suckle on.
Look, you
like,
can only have so many small blood wolves. Like they can't just go around. He doesn't just have
He only has
infinite
so much
blood.
dark ichor to move it.
As many as he wants.
So let's God, it's so funny to change the anime topic to city. Just city. Hey Mason, have fun talking about this one.
Okay, so I'm going to be really honest. I'm not going to like fully recap this show because that's an exercise in futility.
It also removes the fun of seeing these
Yeah.
jokes occur.
So the entire idea of City is we are following several different like people and groups that all live in this city. And they're all insane.
That's
in the
true.
most mundane ways. And it is, I can't really say anything other than this is genuinely one of the funniest shows I've ever watched. Like, this is on Bochi the Rock's tier, in my opinion, for how funny this is. I lost it from about 5 minutes into episode 1 until I stopped watching episode 3. Like, just all the way through, I was crying laughing. Some like favorite bits, Tatewaku, just the entirety of the chef dad, everything with him.
2 fried noodles
Perfection.
in the bag.
2 fried noodles into the bag,
How did that even happen?
a cork-shaped dent in that man's head.
The two best friends are indeed a dynamic that I think fucking rules.
I fucking love that.
Who are you? I'm Wako Izumi. No, who are you? I'm Wako Izumi.
We are, oh boy. This might just be a show that's better to just fire into talking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is interesting
Who are
because
you?
there is
I'm
clearly
I'm
a
Eri.
slight
Oh, I thought you were
divide.
someone else.
There's clearly a slight divide here. I don't think Austin and John are as in on this as me, Michael, and Mason.
Yeah.
I think
Okay.
when you watch like 7 shows in a day,
That's fair.
comedy doesn't
That's
hit as hard as
totally
it
fair.
should. And that's my reasoning. And like I said, to put in perspective, Sean messaged me like, "Hey, John, you forgot to put this on the list," and so I just kind of threw it somewhere, and then didn't realize how low it was. But I already sent it, and I went.
That's
Sean
fair.
goes, "Are you sure?" And I'm like,
If you want to change,
"Listen,
if
Sean.
you want to change
Listen, Sean.
that,
The blur of shows doesn't move the
if-
needle right
if you
now.
want to change that at all, you're welcome to adjust that
if I
for the
if I have
actual
time
stats.
to rewatch it on a day where I haven't watched a ton of anime and I can like fully process what I'm watching, then I definitely.
Yeah,
Um,
so structurally, let's give a little more about this. This is a series of multiple comedy vignettes strung together, some of which carry over, like they give you a break and then they continue the story it's telling.
And some
Overall,
also
it's-
link together
Yes.
as well.
Because they're all in the same city, and
Yeah.
a lot of them intersect, and generally the entire show keeps building.
Yeah, so the one fun part that is, I think, a very big plus about this show is that if you don't like a bit, that it will be built on in a way that like it doesn't get stale. It's still the same bit, but it's building more on top of it, so you have a bit more to work with and a bit more to laugh at.
I think the weakest bit in the 3 episodes are all of the Mr. Bummer bits.
Yes.
To me, they're the weakest part. The manga part of it, where it's the guy making the 4 coma. There's a little bit of inhumor at that, given the context of what we're sitting in and watching.
Mhm.
And there are some parts I still really like. I just think they're a little too overdramatic. Those 2 particular characters for me to really get behind its comedy bits, but most other characters fire on full cylinders for me, and I was fucking laughing. And I watched episode 1 and 2 twice. I watched it once with Michael, and I watched it once with Mason. And I am notoriously not the comedy guy on this podcast. In fact, you might say I shoot comedy dead most times. Michael and I had to stop. We had to pause in episode 1. And I went, Michael, is this what Nichijou is like? Do we have to go stop watching anime and just watch Nichijou? Because this is the Nichijou author. This is their next. This was the thing they made after Nichijou. Michael, you want to talk about what the opening to episode 1?
Oh, it's like the greatest comedy bit of all time outside of Wako Izumi as the walking shenanigan. Yeah. The fucking bit at the start of episode, I don't even want to spoil it. I think it's that good. I think it's a bit that it only works in the context of the show introducing it.
It gives it a very grand, like, this is going to be a really there's a grander picture here, and then it goes.
There was this grand bird flying around until it ran into a stone in the sky, and it got stuck, and then it got a disease, and then also turned into stone. And then this stone with the bird in it was paraded around for generations, sometimes as a religious figure, sometimes as just a grand statue, sometimes as a lamp. But this story, it follows a city. And this city has nothing to do with that bird. And I fucking lost it. Just the way that's presented. And again, it's completely ignoring my favorite character in maybe anything ever, Wako Izumi, the fucking walking monstrosity. I don't know how to describe Wako Izumi outside of a disaster.
That's probably good too.
Maybe.
That's a pretty good description.
And whenever I have anxiety, I scrub the gills of an inside of a mushroom.
And then I flipped it upside down and went, "What if?"
And then when I'm gonna get really bad anxiety from that, I press the piece of eraser I have in my pocket.
She casually drops the line, and then I prayed to the god I created yesterday, and I go, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
Fucking love.
You get to see in episode 1 where you get to introduce to the roommates, and the one walks in, and she goes, "What the fuck are you doing with that broccoli?" And that bit kills me. That there's just I particularly want to highlight the 2 school friends because
Headshot.
having them be just the best friends who are so in tune with each other and doing the most middle school bullshit ever, and then having Etron go home and her mom goes, "So you told her you're moving, right?" And she goes, "Not yet." And then we just move on for who knows how long, having nice fun friend comedy bits, knowing there's just that hanging over you for the entirety of all of it. This show, I think, does a good job not just of being funny, but capturing a lot of the human experience. There's a really
Absolutely.
good bit in episode 3 where they are at a shrine and they're digging for treasure, and the landlady their landlady comes over and is like, "Ha, we got you to dig." Well, the shrine head is like, "Thank you for digging open for our landfill," and the landlady walks away and goes, "I'm gonna get you wrecked," and that's all she fucking says, and she walks away, and they just sit there and go, "God, I wish I had money to pay rent," and I'm like, "God, I know exactly how this manga feels."
EP.
Austin, you have
Because-
thoughts you want to talk about with this?
Yeah, so like,
Also, why do you hate whimsy and fun?
Yeah, exactly.
is this anything as that you expected differently of me?
Austin's like, in this season we need more gore and more like psychological horror. And
Okay, so like,
tension.
what it comes down to is that it's just not my preferred style of comedy.
Okay.
And that probably won't change. And it is what it is. I recognize that it is a very well produced anime. Thank you, Hikaru
Dude,
Animation.
it's
you did
so
a great
fucking
job.
beautiful.
I understand, like, I understand, like, the slapstick comedy of, like, all of these different, like, parties and then intertwining with each other and then building on each other. However, I just generally prefer my comedy to be, like, more directly cohesive rather than, like, weaving a bunch of threads together.
So
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, I like my comedy for the story. Damn it. No.
so I have a very fun thought about perhaps why Michael Mason and I really like this show and its comedy, and perhaps why I really like it when I think probably a couple years ago I would not have enjoyed this show as much. And that is because I think a lot of this show's comedy has a lot of manzai comedy built into it. Two-man manzai. There's a lot of moments where I feel like it's similar to that structure.
Especially Eri and Matsuo, I can get the
Yes.
vibe. Those two could go on a stage and just talk, and they would win
And
the show with whatever.
And what I'm getting at is Michael Mason and I have all just finished what might be one of the most peak comedy mangas of all time, which is Showa Shoten. And that may have drastically rewritten my brain chemistry when it comes to comedy. Is that I feel like there are bits here that I'm like, yeah, this is really good. I've been infected with the brain disease that is liking Japanese traditional comedy. That said, there are some things that don't exactly hit. But I don't think I've laughed as much at a show as I have in a long time with this. Watching it dubbed, by the way, because it's there.
Characters. I'm looking at the character list right now just for like some names and remember like who's connected to who, and it's like I gotta just look over and I see Riko Izumi, our EP girl. And I just get reminded of the intro to episode 3. I think it was the beginning of episode 3. It's
Yeah.
a bit with her and the flashback bit.
Yeah, where her
It's
life
so
flashes,
fucking
her
good.
life flashes before her eyes multiple times, and she fucking she fucking particleizes, and then she drops takoyaki, and its life flashes before its eyes. Dude, that. And there's absolutely no
It's
dialogue the
funny.
entire scene. It's just
So
it's
the screenshot was almost the octopus in the bed. That was very close to being the screenshot.
Oh. Yeah. Yeah, this is gonna be an interesting show going forward. Because there's always a chance that it has a bad week. There's always a chance somehow just like none of the comedy sticks because it's comedy. So it is interesting in that capacity. I for one think that a of or like light-hearted cool-down shows, this is by far my favorite.
For sure.
But-
it's definitely a very nice breath of fresh air after Edge,
Yeah.
uncomfortable.
Michael and I intentionally move some shows around so that we watch these shows in a very particular
Yeah, when
order. where
we're doing our episode 2s, we did Hikaru into City and then Clevatess into With You in the Rain.
yeah.
Yeah.
So each thing would have a buffer after it.
Nah,
Be
you
like
just
happy.
you see, I just suffer all at once so that I can get to
You're-
the good stuff afterward.
You're
Okay,
right,
that was
Austin.
notably more after episode 2 of Hikaru has like the darkest bits we get of Hikaru.
We also didn't want to end the night on somebody who died.
I think
not-
that we didn't want to end it on Clevatess after that. Was
Yeah.
one of the things that I wanted to put City first, so I could be like happy.
But you're right, Austin. What we all should have done was we should have watched one show and then Kamitsubaki and then one show and then rewatch the first episode of Kamitsubaki again and see if anything changed.
No,
You just watch
it doesn't-
so much
whoa.
Kamitsubaki that there's just no other choice.
I'll
We'll
get
there.
to
Oh,
that.
we
but...
will. We are building to it. John, talk about the weird dog. You're muted.
Guys, I think we had like a really high intensity show before this we were talking about, you know. So I think we gotta chill down with a very laid back show. Oh wait, they're back to back. But no. So With You in the Rain follows our main character Fuji, who is a aspiring novelist. Well, she is a novelist, and she's walking home one day and she sees this rain outside. And she's like, "Hey, you can take my umbrella. I like the rain." And so she's walking in the rain, which I think there'd be a little more urgency, but she really likes the rain, guys. Like, very enjoyable. And so she's walking home and she comes across this lost, abandoned dog who has a sign in front of it that says, "Please adopt me." And then she's like, "I'm sorry, buddy, I can't adopt you." And he goes, "No, please adopt me," and hands her an umbrella. And you're like, "Where did you get that trick?" And she's like, "You're not a dog, but you're cute, so you can come home, I guess."
Maybe
Um,
you're a dog.
And so she walks home with this dog, and starts to learn that it's not just a dog, it's a tanuki, but we still call it a dog or a cat sometimes, but like also mostly a dog. And so she comes home with it, and they dry off, and he gets like a nice little pillow, and learns that, hey, he can write very well. Actually, this dog writes very well. Honestly, very impressive. Goes and gets it some food, makes it some nice tasty food, where he just goes, "Yep, nope, very good, love it." And then tries to go to the vet. The vet goes, "I work with dogs and cats." "The fuck is that?" She's like, "It's a dog." He goes, And the dog says, "I'm a dog." He goes, gives the our little dog his shots, whose now name is Kimi.
Oh my god,
and so
we do name the dog. Holy shit.
Yeah, we did name the dog, and like I think the second episode actually. But and she goes to the dog park, where it meets a bunch of other animals. And then she's at home working, and the tanuki goes, "Hey, what do you do for work?" And she goes, "What do you do for work?" He goes, "I got you. I make little paper masks." And he holds up a bunch of different paper masks, and he's like, "Okay, what do you do for work?" And she's like, "I'm a novelist." He's like, "Cool." And then they take a nice little cute bath together, and it's raining outside, so she opens the window and they chill in the bath. And then in the second episode, she decides to accompany one of her neighbors, and her actual dog to the dog park with Kimi, the tanuki, where her dad shows up and is very overly loving of this dog and cannot get a straight picture of this dog to save its life, because Mr. Tanuki just keeps running around and blurs every single photo. And then hilarious scenes with the dad, just shortcomings, more like feel good like dad moments where he's just loving this tanuki. And in the third episode, we meet Fuji's two friends from high school, Mimi and Ren, who we find out that she was always just pretty monotonistic, pretty chill. Didn't really want to do anything. Didn't want to go to the beach. Didn't want to do any of this stuff. But friends come over and visit the dog, check out the new dog that is a tanuki that everyone keeps calling a dog, and very abrasive towards Mimi, who's like, "Fine, fuck you too." And she's like, "I just want to pet the dog." And the dog goes, "No," and then puts her hand down. And then finally, they have their little party, and then Kimi, our little thing, says, "Hey, I want to go to the beach. It'll be fun." Everybody's going. We get invite everybody. It'd be really cool. Instead of going to the beach and splitting a little mini watermelon, and we get more flashbacks from Fuji. And yeah, it's very cute. Tiny shows. It's very wholesome. I was correct in my assumptions that if I picked the show, someone else would like it. Someone else likes the show. We watched it at dinner today.
John's
and
legally
so it
not
was
allowed
really
to
fun.
vote this show off ever.
I'm legally not allowed to vote for the show ever. Also, it's just cute, so I have no reason to yet. This show was very silly. I like the Tanuki. He's very funny. I like that he just writes and everyone just kind of accepts it. It's just like, oh yeah, this dog can write. That's fine. He's got better handwriting than most of us, but hey, you don't question the Tanuki that comes into your life.
Vibes of the show, immaculate.
Immaculate.
Absolutely perfect.
Content, zero. There is no.
I talked about it. The opening really gives you a sense of it. Man, when you just allow a character to have infinite fashion choices, man, do you get an extra little nudge in my book, because that's phenomenal. I don't want to start talking. I talk a lot, so you guys talk first, and I'll throw some stuff in.
I love this show because it fits that niche that I love so much, which is we are just vibing, but like in a way of there's basically nothing else except the vibes and cute. I'm here for that. I love those kind of things. I can just turn my brain off to this show, especially after Clevatess, and not have to worry about anything. It's great.
No, it's such a real way to put it. Again, part of the show is one, like episode 1 in particular. I think it's probably my favorite episode of the show.
Yeah,
I think it's like the last like 5 minutes of it or so. The two of them are just like vibing. Like she turns off the light. It's
crazy.
The vibes are fucking peak in that bit. Yeah, these characters are just so fun. Yeah, Fuji doesn't talk a ton, but like Fuji and the dog are just so silly. They're just silly little guys. And you always introduce other characters like that. We've had new characters each episode that do enough to kind of make the bits work. You have our two friends in episode 3. Notably the one that immediately calls the dog a Tanuki. And the dog goes,
person.
Hate you.
The only
Don't like you
person.
anymore. Fuck you.
Yep.
Yeah, this show raises a couple of questions that I don't think I've had answered yet, which is, what kind of Tanuki are we talking about? Is it like a regular Tanuki who just happens to know how to write, or is it like
it's a dog with a leaf on its head?
Or is it? Sorry, you're right. Or is it a mythical Tanuki who can do other funky things besides just write? No. Neither is a dog. Yeah, neither is a dog.
That's a dog.
I'll never get my answers. I literally said to Michael in episode 2, I'm like, is anyone ever gonna say, like, I will say there is a small, like, as the person who really likes to like enjoy content in show, it is really hard to disconnect my brain and not have it go, how come no one in Japan goes, that's a Tanuki? Thank God someone finally did, because, like, somebody should look at it and go, guys, that's a Tanuki. We all know what a Tanuki is.
We know this. Did you see that one show where, like, the manga artist kept, like, injecting Tanuki into everything? Oh, no, that was,
Cat.
It was the novel show where he's, like, the high schooler that writes his, like, his high school show.
Yeah.
Nozaki.
Yeah, sure. Think of Nozaki.
Because there's the other person who just writes a show where the editor makes him put Tanukis and everything.
Fuji's unhinged.
Yes.
She is perhaps
she's a jackass, and I kind of love her for it.
She is perhaps a little on the spectrum.
Yeah, just a bit.
There is no more incredible behavior than your friends constantly going, let's go to the beach. Please go to the beach with us. And then going, no. And then going to the beach by yourself. And then sending photos of yourself at the beach to said friends. And the implication is this isn't a one-time thing.
Yeah,
she does this all the time.
All the time.
Insane behavior. I love her for it. She also, so you guys were like, head off. You don't have to interpret anything here. There's a couple of things they keep bringing up that make me go, what? What are we talking about here? What's going on with Fuji's life? There's like this implication that something happened in her family that like maybe put a strain on her and her father, and maybe her father and her mother at one point. And like, there's lots like the girl in episode 2 looks at her and is like, she's like, I think she's like, you're a pretty normal person. And Fuji goes, no. In fact, I'm the most not normal. And I go, what the fuck do you know that I don't about you? What have you done? Besides go to the beach every week when your friends want you to by yourself alone. I am interested in what this show, where this show goes and where it's gonna dive into, like, her as a person, because I think she is really interesting. I won't lie, there are parts of the time where I watch this and I go, this Komi-san should just not have had Tadano and should just had a Tanuki in it. Perhaps I would have liked it better. Austin John, if you like this show, you should be reading Shiba Inu Rooms.
Yes.
I know I should. Listen.
Like, just imagine, as opposed to like the dog writing things out, it can just talk.
And there's a bunch of them. Except
Yeah,
for the
but
ones
like, I
that
like
can't.
it writing stuff out. It's very cute when he holds this little sign up that says "I am dog."
Okay, but hear me out. There's a part in the most recent Shiba Inu Rooms chapter where the only human character in the setting at the time walks away, and they do their now loading graphic they do in the panel, and it goes all the characters from here on out will be speaking dog. We're gonna auto translate for you, which is
Yes.
phenomenal. I adore Shiba Inu Rooms. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about another dog. Austin, do you have anything you want to say about With You in the Rain?
Okay, so this is the kind of show where like watching it in anime format, I got kind of bored. But I also think that I would like it if I read it as a manga.
Fair.
So I didn't like terribly enjoy my I guess the relaxed like pace vibes of it, because maybe, I mean, I don't know what I was expecting. It definitely just portrays it. It is exactly what I should expect of it, but I was just like, it's a little bit too slow for me. I'd rather just like flip through like this chapter of manga in like 5 minutes or so. That being said, Fuji, very interesting character. The Tanuki is cute. I will concede those points. I also can't look at Fuji without seeing like the main girl from Kowloon Generic Romance.
Yeah, they do have a similar vibe. If any of our viewers at home need to go to sleep and can't fall asleep, plop this lo-fi beats to fall asleep to ED on, and you'll be set, dude. This shit vibes.
Yeah, but again, generally, it's just like the reason why I rank it low is just because like as an anime, it doesn't pique my interest as much as it probably would if I was just reading it, because I just found it on certain websites.
That's fair. It doesn't do a lot, like, with the fact that it's an anime. The most you get is like the fact that you have a soundtrack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't have with the manga. But yeah, it doesn't do. This is one of the stories about like, yeah, being an anime isn't going to do a ton. Outside of its coloring, definitely does a lot. Like again, episode 1's like the end of episode 1. That doesn't.
Yeah.
I don't think that works as well in a manga. With like the way that entire thing is like colored, and like that just doesn't quite hit the same way I would imagine in a manga. But yeah, I get the idea.
Let's Michael. The Secrets of the Silent
Secrets
Witch.
of a Silent Witch.
Gang, here's maybe one of my favorite screenshots we have of this week. Watching this dubbed, Michael and I did. What about you guys?
Just like me, for real.
Same here.
I think I watched it dubbed.
Quick note about
I
With
watched-
You. Quick note about With You in the Rain. We watched episode 1 dubbed. We watched episode 2 subbed, and by the time we watched episode 3, the dub was out again. So Michael and I watched that dubbed as well. I could go either way with that show. Because I'm not. This is one of those examples where I'm not a fan of listening to people go puppers. So there's a couple of there's a couple of dub idiosyncrasies I'm not a fan of With You in the Rain. But this might be Michael and I talked about it. Maybe
This is the one dub I'm unsure of.
yeah,
For some of the
but some of the characters
Felix
are
in
really good.
particular is really bad.
But Damien Haas
I
is in this
hate-
as like 3 characters. Can you
The
find
thing with
it?
the only character I like dislike the voice for is Felix,
The prince.
the like prince.
But let's talk about the
um,
show, Michael.
But yeah, Secrets of the Silent Witch. We follow Monica. She is one of the however many sages. Not sage. She's one of like the. Is it 7 sages? Is everything 7 sage?
It's 7, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's notable. Because she is so shy. Normally in this world, when you cast magic, you have to use incantations. She is so shy and had such big stage fright that she decided to invent casting magic without incantations. Through sheer power of will, she went, I'm never gonna talk in front of people. I'm just gonna learn how to do silent magic. Which is such aura to just do that, but also she's a fucking dingus. And we love her for it. She's also definitely on the spectrum. She is a numbers nerd.
How many digits of pi do you think she knows? My bet is all of them.
All of them.
Hey John, what was your peak at MST?
For what?
Pi.
Don't do it. Just tell us about how many you got to.
I gotta do it in my head to remember how
Okay.
many I know.
But yeah. So we're kind of introduced to her. We meet another one of the sages. His name is Lewis, I believe. Is that one?
22?
Nice.
23?
And essentially she is tasked because she is small, to go and kind of infiltrate this school and protect the prince, because there have been assassination attempts or stuff like that. And they're not sure quite what is happening. And to make kind of be more low profile, they're sending her in because she would fit in generally within this group of people. So she gets there. Kind of her cover story is that her family died in some kind of accident. I don't remember exactly how they set it up. She's kind of here under another family's thing, kind of like a servant of theirs, essentially. And the main daughter of that family, the Norton family, she is a fucking bean. She's the silliest character ever. We are introduced to her as her doing like the very over the top like evil villainess kind of thing. And then she immediately starts. She goes, "Was that good? Is that like a good villainess impression? Because like if I just like act normal around you, I'd be too much of like a simp, and then that'd be a bad idea. Because we learned in the past, Isabel had been saved by Monica from in some capacity. Like some shit was happening.
It opens up
Yeah,
to what?
Monica went
it's
fucking
it's
crazy.
the dragon attack that she saves her from.
Monica went crazy because she's the goat. And then we start meeting more people in the school. We meet Lana, who's another member of her class, who is kind of like in a new blood royal group, I believe is how kind of her thing. So she's kind of ostracized for being new to the group. People go, "Ha, she wasn't born with money. Her parents had to work to get money. What a fucking bitch."
Not the
But Lana
W
also-
slur.
Lana also gives Monica her like current hairstyle. She's like, "Your hair looks kind of rough.
Bad.
You want to like?" She's like, "I could help you," and then she goes, "Sure." And then best friends immediately, 10 out of 10. And because Monica is really quiet, she's trying to like get closer to the prince, but is really bad at it. She gets accused as the person who's been trying to kill the prince. She then kind of gets set free from this. It kind of gets out of this going like, the prince kind of goes, "If she was trying to do that, she's been really good at it so far. How would she fuck up this hard right now? That would be stupid." and then the prince's one lackey's like, "You know what? Fair." So yeah, episode 2 kind of a big thing is they're kind of like in this little garden maze thing, and a flower pot falls from a high windowsill, and we go, "That's weird. Why did that fall?" But Monica ends up passing out, not because she gets hit by it, no, because she like touched the prince and died. Not actually, but she's like, too much interaction. But like we see, but yeah, stuff comes from that. We end up meeting like another character. I don't remember this character's name. This character's name is important. I just don't remember it.
True.
Essentially, we kind of throughout the episode like 2 and 1, 2, and parts of 3, we get kind of introduced to the school, some of the people in our class, and then there was the student council. The big thing that comes out of episode 3 is Monica connects. So like, if that's where that fell from, that had to be this music room. So if I go and look at the records of who used this music room, this would be the person. This is the person who did it. And also, I remember that person when they went up to me in the infirmary didn't have their gloves on because their gloves would have gotten dirty moving the flower pots around. And also, I found their gloves in the garbage can. And she's like, "I have like 5 pieces of evidence against you. You're
And
kind
they have your initials on it, and they're signed by you. And I watched you do it on a camera that I put in Magic Place.
Like she absolutely cooks her with the evidence here.
She might as well just been like vlogging her fucking crimes at this
And
point.
your footprint was on top of the pot that I used to also stand up there, which now I realize kind of incriminates me as well. But I was on the bottom, so it couldn't have been me.
Yeah. And essentially from the this gets her to talk to the prince, and the prince goes, "Thank you." She kind of get put on this because she'd originally been accused for it. And the prince goes, and then she like sees like the prince is like looking at like records for stuff, and she goes, "Those are kind of fucking ass, my dude." And he goes, "Yeah, could you like look at them?" And she goes, "Sure." And then in the matter of like 10 hours or something, I think it's maybe even less, she redoes 5 years worth of accounting records, which is crazy. She's the GOAT. Which then pisses off Mr. Silver-haired boy, who's not in the first 6 characters on any list. I don't have his name here.
It's Cyril.
Yeah, Cyril. Because he's like, that was, we don't hear from him, but that was his job in the past. So a lot of these mistakes are his. But yeah, and then at the end of episode 3 kind of follows her kind of interacting with Cyril, and we learn Cyril has magic aptitude, but doesn't realize he does, and is kind of leaking magic everywhere, and it makes every room he's in cold, because he's the silver-haired one. He does cold magic.
Also, there's like a weird magical thing over people.
The demons are in his eyes.
The demons are in people's eyes. I believe we see this in everybody who's done crimes' eyes so far at the school.
Mm-hmm.
I
The
would.
show is
Yeah,
neat.
go ahead, Michael. If you want to give.
Again,
more
I
thoughts.
think Monica is wonderful. I adore her so much. I didn't even mention her cat Nero, who is her little familiar. He's also a silly little boy.
I think I can do without him. I'll be real.
Fair, but
got-
also he's fun.
He's got strong Tipo energy, and I'm not a fan of that right now.
Yeah.
You know me, not the biggest mascot fan. I think the show's beautiful.
Yes.
Like backgrounds. This show got lots of points in episode 1. From a lot of the magic display it gave us. With like her fighting off the dragons. I like a lot of like her being really into math is fun and interesting. It's a really neat dynamic. They are cooking something with her father having been one of the 7 sages and seemingly ousted for some reason, and so she is temporarily holding the spot because she can cast without incantation, and that's crazy. Yeah, I'm getting my feet wet with the school plot, and this is pretty by the book stuff, but she is enjoyable. And I like the magic, and I like the way they frame a lot of scenes, and I just enjoyed this show. I'm really excited for this to pull some wild shit, and I'm hopeful for that.
I think like the way they do the like reveal in episode 3 is really neat, because they do the callback to when you saw me in the infirmary, and then you go, fucking Christ, that was her last episode, and that was her hands, and she like makes a comment about how soft her hands are.
Maybe
It's a thing that happens.
Maybe a light knock to the show is that because you're in like a royal fancy academy, a lot of the female characters look kind of samey if they're not the main character. Or like one of the main students. Like, she looks a lot like some of the other girls that I would never have flagged her as the one from the infirmary with a week break in between watching the show. Yeah, I'm not sold on the prince
if we start
as a character yet. I agree with you. I think he's probably the most lukewarm of the cast.
That doesn't help that his dub voice isn't good.
He's the interesting behind the scenes plot progression guy that we're kind of waiting to fucking do stuff. I don't dislike the
He's
fights.
just kind of there.
I do love her little chronic flashbacks of just like, oh god, he's going to show up and kill me with the fire behind him and his like squiggly angry hands.
This is very funny.
You just showing your top 3, John.
I love her. She's adorable, bro.
That should
I
be,
get
I actually
fair
think that,
and
I,
real
I
and
think that
base.
should be bolded. Did I fuck that up?
Maybe.
Oh yeah, no, probably.
I'll be
Yeah,
honest, I didn't even
definitely
realize it
fucking-
was
I
top 3. It's
definitely-
just kind of how it landed.
Definitely
Like,
fuck that up.
I think this show is like the feel good show, but also stuff happens and it has plot. So I think it's really good. Sorry, our main girly pop is adorable and very fun to watch. That's kind of how I look at it. So
Well,
Yeah.
that is very fair.
it's pretty straightforward.
Great time with
character
the show.
Good
I have,
show.
not- I have nothing
Like,
further to add. Like
uh,
she's
Yes.
so cute.
I
and
love a good. It's just Bochi the Rock if she was a mage, bro. Like I don't know what to tell you.
Bush
Like
and Page.
I try to think of like a rhyming pun and I just couldn't do it.
Bochi the Wand.
I also didn't think that hard about it, but
No, it's very cute. Very cutesy. Our main character is great. I like the mystery aspect behind it and spooky stuff. It just combines a lot of other shows that I've watched, and so it's like a lot of good parts of it, and I hope it keeps being good. It's kind of where I'm at with it.
It show's very pretty. The plot's very interesting. I love Lewis a lot, and I want more of him. Monica's fantastic. Most of our characters are just a great time. The show's just good. Truly.
I remember watching like a little bit before I watched like 2 and 3, and then and like 1 I wasn't like super sold on it because it's just I felt it was like a little bit awkward how they went like flashback, present day, flashback again, just to explain her like why she's the Silent Witch and so on and so forth. And then like once they actually got into like the academy, into the bulk of the actual plot, that's when it actually like was so much more interesting and so much better for me like as a viewer.
There you go. This Academy cast is so far pretty solid. Outside of the prince. I think we'll get stuff with him because I
Almost
imagine
certainly.
this show will eventually become a romance between the two. Maybe, who knows?
Yeah.
But like, I think just so far it's been focusing a lot more on just Monica getting into the school and like getting acclimated to people. And she only in episode 3 has like a reason to interact with him because she becomes a member of the student council. To then be immediately thrust into, hey, go hang out with Cyril.
Also, I think Isabel's really funny.
Isabel's great. I adore
So
her so
funny.
much.
I'm getting something up before we move on quick because I need to check something.
I also really like Isabel's one maid. She's also really funny. When Isabel's like, oh, Monica, I really like your hair. Can I get my hair done the same way? And the maid goes, no, because if I did that, then people would immediately connect that you like her. And we're trying to avoid that.
And then the maid just goes, "Don't worry. On the summer vacation, I will do your hairs perfectly together, and it'll be very cute." And she's like, "Awesome." The maid
It's
being
very
in on
good.
it is so perfect too. She's like,
Yeah.
doesn't she make a great villain? Like she's trying very hard for you guys. Thank you for
she-
saving the city, by the way.
Is she not? No, she's not. For some reason, my brain wants to say she's the other sage's wife. I
No,
feel
she's
like
just
Could
the-
be.
I think she's just the maid of the.
Maybe.
I felt like when they showed up at the estate, that was the implication they gave. But I don't remember enough to know.
I thought that was just her showing him where her house was.
I don't remember enough. I don't. It's not relevant yet, if for the case. But
Mhm.
are you guys ready to strap in for a ride?
No.
Let's talk about Lord of Mysteries.
Right.
So, Lord of Mysteries. Oh boy. What's the name for what it is? It's technically not an anime. It's a.
It's a donghua, I believe is the
Donghua?
term.
Thank you. Chinese animation. I've watched episode 2 of this dubbed. I'm watching. Michael watched this with me. I don't know how Michael watched episode 3, but Michael watched 1 and 2 with me. Chinese audio subbed. That's just the way I'm choosing to do this. My justification for this is I really like having the subtitles to know what things they are saying, because we have a lot of proper nouns in this goddamn show, and I like to try to be able to follow at least some shit by seeing the words they say. Let's get into this. We are following a man known as Klein Moretti, who is not just Klein Moretti. He is also another guy who has reincarnated to some degree into Klein Moretti's body. We also open on a Dracula boss fight in the middle of a Victorian castle. We'll get back to these things, maybe. So Klein wakes up and has found that he has attempted to shoot himself in the head. He succeeded, but also he's alive now because he reincarnated into the body. We find that he was, in some degree, a part of a group of people investigating a strange notebook. Boy, oh boy, this is a show I really should have notes on, but it's fine. There are lots of names here. The notebook belongs to a family that's name is going to keep coming up. It starts with an A.
I think it's Antigone or something.
Antigone, you're correct.
Antigonus.
That is it. Thank you. Yeah, Antigonus.
Antigone,
But
right.
the structure of this world is a Victorian setting where people have access to powers that make them become known as Beyonders. And essentially, the Beyonders get their powers from a pantheon of gods by drinking potions and going down a skill tree path. The potions have it is a sequence of 9. And being at the bottom of the sequence, the 9th level, means you are the weakest, and the lower the number goes, down to 1, means you are the strongest. But each path you are set on when you choose your first potion, you have to know the sequence to continue to get stronger. And essentially, episode 1 follows Klein as he's trying to figure out what the fuck is going on in the life that he is dropped into. He has a notebook to start to figure some things out. And he kind of goes around town and learns some things and starts to get followed by these Beyonders that he doesn't know because he doesn't know that concept yet. But this Beyonder Dunsmith tracks him down and is like, we know you were tied to these people who just died. Why are you alive? You are checking out this notebook thing. We want to figure out what's going on here. At the same time, Klein finds himself in a pocket dimension that he has created and structured, where he conjures 2 other people into it, and they start to explain the potions and sequences to some degree, and we establish that he can call them here and try to help them get to their objective, and he is presented as having the Fool Arcana, and is kind of like the mastermind of this set piece where he can draw people in. We'll table that for later, because the show tables that for later.
And also because they're sitting at a table.
Yeah, they're at a table too. And so Klein gets caught by these Beyonders, and they're like, hey, we're gonna try to help you figure things out about what you don't know in relation to this notebook and things that happen. But we're gonna go into your dreams because we worship the Night Maiden, the Night Mistress. And we're gonna do that. And they go in the Klein stream and they go, here's what we figured out. You have a notebook, you shot yourself, you are alive, and your memories are fucked up. And Klein goes, those are all the things I already knew. And episode 1 ends. Episode 2, they bring Klein into their order, and he agrees to start working as a Beyonder for them. And he has an option of, like, 4 types of sequences he can choose to be for a Beyonder: a Mystic, a Seer. I think one of the ones he has up for grab is a Gravekeeper. There's another funky one in there he can be.
It's Grave Digger.
Yeah, Grave
technically, but,
Digger
yeah.
is that one. And there's another funky one in there. They're all wild fucking names. We get introduced to a bunch of people who are part of the organization. We find out what level of sequence they are as a Beyonder and what class they have picked. He goes and he meets this guy who is I don't think he's a seer. I think he's a mystic. who is like their alchemist, and he's like, I have these potions here, and also I have these historical records. And Klein looks at the records and he goes, shit, that's just simplified Chinese. That's crazy. I can read that. And he finds out about this very Romanian-esque emperor named Gustav, who had discovered some things about the sequences in his time and had chosen to become a seer. And he talks about how this was a very, if he had... He might not have picked a seer. I think he picked something else, but he believes he should have picked seer. It would have been the right choice, given what he knows now about the Beyonders' powers. And so when Klein is posed the option, he goes, well, shit, if this guy from the historical record says seer is busted, I'll pick that. And then he goes on a massive trip into the spirit realm, that involves conjuring things in his mind in real life, and it's a fucking trip. And so he is able to use spirit powers as a seer, which lets him do a lot of dowsing and things. He gets a gun. Then he goes on his first mission, where they are tracking down a boy who's been kidnapped, and they find two He goes with a cool rad dude, who is a fucking I don't remember the first part. He's a poet. His power is the poet set. And so they go in here. They have some Beyonders who go out of control. They fight a monster. This guy has a weird thing in his shadow that's keeping its eyes on Klein. Klein, as a seer, gets to see into the beyond, things he should not be staring at, and he finds out that there is a room that really wants his attention because Klein, the original Klein, has been there before, and inside that room is probably the notebook, and it has something to do with the building across the street, and that builds into episode 3 where they go and they check out the notebook. They find out that the notebook's been taken somewhere, and they gotta track down a guy who's part of the intake and his family. And to do that, they have to bring out a very special, powerful artifact that involves the church giving the go to do it, and it's a fucking puppet. And it's a weird puppet that tries to take control of people, and the only way to stop the puppet from taking control of you is to go like this. Go like this a lot. Everybody in the room just goes like this. And the idea is that it gets your muscles to loosen up so that you could slap somebody out of it if they start to get controlled, but it's okay because it can't control more than 2 people at a time. Don't worry, Michael. It makes sense. We promise.
No. So the idea is that it's a constant motion. So if anyone stops doing it, you know they're getting controlled. Yeah. You can't see the controlling.
Yeah.
Because at the moment their arm doesn't keep that constant rhythm, it's like, stop that, and you smack him.
But so because Klein's come into contact with the notebook, the puppet has it fucking out for him right away. And they use that in the materials to douse where the notebook is, and they track down the guy who has also been who's been corrupted by the notebook into some monstrosity that's not a Beyonder who's gone out of control. And we have an actual really sick dope fight scene with all these people who are here as Beyonders to get this notebook back. And there's a clown here who's fucking around and setting up the puppet to come out so that he can get the puppet to control everybody, because he wants to tell Klein the sequence to move further down the path for Seer. Klein gets out of the puppet's control by going into his pocket dimension, and then comes back, and then fakes out the clown by the clown not realizing he's not fully under the puppet's control, and winds up shooting him in the chest and in the head, after he finds out the next sequence for the Seer potion is clown. People get fucked up in this fight. And he goes and sees his professor, a professor he's familiar with at the end of episode 3, to try to get more information about the notebook which the church currently has, before they can give approval for Klein to look at it. And his professor perhaps is into some sketchy things. He summons a giant skeleton after Klein leaves the room, after warning him not to go too deep into the spirit realm. Let's talk about this show. Setting is really cool. The Victorian, dark, a lot of people are describing it very Bloodborne-esque. I think it's a really rad setting. I think the power system is interesting, but it's very complicated. The show...
You gave your 22 paths some random bullshit.
The show is very pretty. I think sometimes to its detriment, because I think sometimes they try to show off with neat camera angles that distort me too much and pull me out of it, actually. It introduces a lot of things out of the gate, and maybe to its benefit, it narrows more in on the Notebook and Klein and the Beyonders than it does on him reincarnating in this weird table pocket dimension where he has where there is a tarot arcana thing going on and also a demon in a church. We kind of leave all that to the wayside for now, which I think is good for it. I like that it focuses in episode 2 and 3 on a central story for you to follow. I think the action in episode 3 is really, really cool, and it's probably the best animated and easy to follow set of things that happen in the entire 3 episodes. I think it is definitely the highlight of the show for me. There's a fucking lot going on here, dude. I am largely positive on this show, though, and I want to give it some time to see what it brings to the table and what direction it decides to go.
It's a lot to keep track of. Like, I've never been simultaneously so confused watching an anime, and like both glad that it narrowed it down, but also just like wanting more of the other stuff that they tabled and sidelined for later. Just like tell me all of this, because it is genuinely interesting, even if I'm not like 100% following all of it. And the anime itself looks really, really pretty, and it's really like a delight to watch. I watched the dub, and very much enjoyed how it all came together.
I do think
I enjoyed it.
tonally the dub's probably better because you get like the kind of British Victorian accents that probably fit the tone much better than all these people speaking Chinese, which feels a little out of whack. But again, I like it just because I get to see the words, and I don't like having subtitle, and I don't think Crunchyroll lets you have the subs on if you're watching with English audio.
No, because
No.
I think because it knows they'll be different, so it doesn't even let you try to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, episode 1 of the show was not a very big fan because it throws you into the middle of a story with no like prep time, and also this story has actually 3 stories going on at the same time.
Maybe 4.
And my brain just went, it's an amount of them. And I was just like, I don't care enough about any of these yet because you just threw too much at me. Because they go, here's this guy who gets reincarnated as this dude named Klein. And Klein has a sister and they're poor and he's trying to find a job. And then he gets a job as a Beyonder. And then also he gets the pocket dimension by walking in a square in his room. And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? What is happening?
Sorry,
Bread.
to be fair, I did forget. He tries to do a ritual to reincarnate again to get back to his previous life to some capacity. I think reincarnate's the wrong term. They use a different term.
They call it like jumping or something. They use like a silly term for it.
It's another R term that means to essentially jump. I can't think of what it is off the top of my head. But like, and that goes seemingly wrong, or perhaps because Klein is tied to the Notebook, it like fucking just sends him into this pocket dimension. I actually really like that scene where he is at the table with them and he just kind of goes along with it and kind of puts on like this high and mighty persona and like kind of just plays with them to get the information he needs to understand what's going on. I actually think it's maybe one of the best written scenes in the show is when he's at that table with them, with the 2 of them.
Yeah.
Which
It is really neat seeing him flip the switch and then going, okay, he's like, okay, I have to do something different here.
It's probably when
To
he's
be
the
competent.
most interesting as a character. He is a little bland at other times. And I think, and my argument is, there's a lot of fucking characters here that I think it makes it hard to focus in on him a lot of the time. John, you also have this decently high.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, it's like it seems like this is a trend with these like the Chinese like donhwas, is that like it throws a lot at you at once, and you just kind of gotta like follow along with it. I do like the premise of the show. I do like kind of where it's like heading with our like 6 different plot lines that we're moving with. But for me, it's like again, it's one of those things that I just kind of fell into the pack, and right now I'm still kind of in between
Unsure.
around it. I do have it pretty high, but like you said, I'm cautiously optimistic, and I think it's partially because of how much I enjoyed To Be Hero X. That I'm like, okay, maybe they got something cooking here. You know, kind of like when the webtoons first started, like when it's like, boys, the webtoons have hit the towers. Where it's like, you know, Tower of God comes in, and then like obviously the big three like that, Noblesse, and then God of High School like all came in. It's the first one, slam dunk, right? Awesome job, fucking sick. And the second one wasn't quite as well, like leveled out,
had
right?
some issues,
And so
and then Noblesse happened.
yeah, so it's like it's interesting. We'll see how it goes. I don't want to take too long on it because we are running pretty late, but yeah, we'll see.
I mean, I would want to be like, oh man, this is a show that like sucks to not be able to dive into. But like it's so hard to even try to parse is the problem.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, Mason, I don't know if you want to weigh in on anything. I know you flat out told me you're like, I wish I was just playing this as a video game.
Yeah, literally. Like this seems so cool as like an MMO, but as a show, it just doesn't make sense. It introduces so many concepts. It doesn't explain who anybody is. People do things for random reasons that they do not explain. I have no earthly idea what the point of the clown was. Things just happen in this show.
Because he's cool and funky. He's a part of this cult, like this cult organization that's like seemingly doing something. We don't know.
But he was also a completely different character in the two different times we got him.
Yeah.
And then he died. And it's just like, okay, what was the point?
I will say, I give the show a little credit. I do like the bit where they repass by the room they have his body in, and Klein like stops and he goes, I just fucking killed a guy. The show has moments that I really enjoy.
Yeah.
Its audio balancing on its ending's atrocious though. Oh my god, dude. Fucking blow your eardrums out. Also, some of its cuts are a little jarring. I feel like this is one of those shows where I feel like sometimes I feel like I've missed something when it transitions sometimes. My first watch through, when he transitions from getting his equipment to getting picked up in the cab, I'm like, that feels too quick. I feel like he should have been doing other stuff before he goes straight into a job. And the same thing where we end on him like having this vision about the notebook as like the stinger for at the end of episode 2, and then we get the post-credit scene where he just gets his new outfit and is vibing with his family, are two drastically tonal different things. This is a tricky show. I want a little more time with it before I pull the trigger on it. Not just because it's my show, but because I think it does have potential here. And I am really interested to see what it has cooked up. I also think we definitely have worse things. Austin, let's start sending. We got 2 shows left, folks. We're almost there, and thankfully, I think we can talk about these 2 pretty quick. Well, one of them. The other one's gonna be. Well,
there's gonna be a lot to unpack with the other one.
Yeah, but we'll do our best to try to make it decently quick. But Austin, let's head into solo camping for 2.
All right, so episode 1, we've got our very slow our guy who just likes to camp alone and be chill about it, and then he goes camping, and then he stumbles into a younger girl, college-aged girl who doesn't know what the fuck she's doing. Also, while she's changing, she basically begs him like, "Hey, help me! I can't camp right," and he's like, "No, I don't want to help you." And then she's like, "No, you have to help me," and he's like, "Fuck, fine." So he does, and then he's like, "Great, I'll never have to see you again." And then she's like, "No, I want to thank you for it. Let's go solo camping for 2 again." And he's like, "No," and she's like, "Yes, let's do it." And he's like, "Fuck, fine." So episode 2, they go camping again, and he's like, definitely being like continuing to be very distant about it. But he helps her set it up. They have good food, and it's just the kind of theme with these shows that they have very good food, and they have like a very nice this tastes really, really good. This is crazy good. And he doesn't really like care as much to see her again, but she's like, okay, but like I don't know what I'm doing, but I really like camping, and I also really would like to see to have you to have you teach me, and here we can set out some ground rules where like we'll eat together, we'll respect each other's desires to be alone if need be, and then we'll like and then we will keep our tents away like 50 to 100 feet away, just to make sure that like that I'm not going to die when I'm outside your view. And he's like, I guess this is fine. And then they go shopping the next day while her two college friends, who she's like briefly told about, want to make sure that like he's not a stalker and some weirdo and going to kill her. And then basically they're just like stalking this this like camping gear little date that they have going on. See, we got through it very quickly.
Let's talk about it.
Good job, Austin. Good job.
So I'll go first here because it's my bottom show. Here's the bottom line between this and Kamitsubaki. Kamitsubaki has structural problems as a show, is kind of my opinion about it. I dislike things about solo camping for 2. Like there are actively things when I watch this show that, one, I don't particularly enjoy it. I would rather be watching Eurocamp. I would much rather be watching Eurocamp. Please let me watch Eurocamp instead. Particularly because what Eurocamp does that I think this show lacks is there's not another level to me here. This is just an educational show that I find boring. The point of this show largely is you learn stuff about camping. I want something else in my education to keep me interesting, and I don't want it to be romance between a 20-year-old and a 34-year-old. I am...
And it's like, they jump to that so quickly. It's episode 2, woman!
And
you're already like, I kind of have a crush on her. Like, fucking hell, man.
Fuck off.
I actively...
No, you don't.
Hey, make her fucking 25. I wouldn't care. Like, it's that she's so close to, like, just out of high school that I'm like, I don't like it. You make me uncomfortable.
Like, if you're gonna keep, like, the college, like, you know, okay, yeah, they're in college and like, it's, like, college club. Make it 22.
Make him a little younger. Because, in all honesty, he's been camping his whole fucking life. He doesn't need to be 30. He doesn't need to be in his... I get that it adds to his dynamic. I don't think he's particularly interesting until the 3rd episode, in which the 3rd episode finally gives a justification for why he even gives a fuck, which is that he remembers things his dad taught him, and it makes a little more sense for him to try to help her and not just leave her out. I think she is... Sorry, I'm blanking on the word. I think... I can't stand her. I can't stand her in episode 1. I think she is... I think she's a very unenjoyable character. I'm not a fan of her introduction. Thank you for that. Thank you for that show. I didn't need it. I didn't need it twice. Because he is just kind of a guy who's doing his hobby alone, who has very clearly vocally said, hey, would you get out of my space? Would you go somewhere else? And she just kind of goes, no, actually I like it here. In fact, if you don't let me come back and camp again with you, you're essentially letting me die. I could meet someone way worse than you. Like, doesn't that make you want to help me? And I'm like, he's under no responsibility to do that for you. At all. And even in episode 2, she's kind of still the worst. Like, she has a moment towards the end of episode 2 where she finally clocks it and she goes, I'm being a little unreasonable here. But her solution to that is to go, I've established an entirely new concept that I know you don't like. The very premise of it you hate. But I'm gonna pitch it because you like my food. And, like, this gets me what I want, and not at all what you want, but surely you'll come around to it. The only thing that could save this show was if I drank, and I played a drinking game whenever they said some variation of the title of this goddamn show while watching it. Because holy shit, dude, I'm gonna gouge my eyes out.
Yo, we're just camping
about
solo for 2.
For 2.
Can you believe that that the manga for this got nominated for the Kodansha Awards?
You know what? I can see it because I can see reading something that is educational and it being fine. I'll be honest, the show doesn't have anything visually going for it that makes me interested in it either. I don't want to say it looks bad, but it doesn't look
looks
anything.
It looks so absolutely fine.
Yeah.
Like the food looks good. It's like
Yeah.
I've seen nicer looking food in actual cooking shows.
Yeah. Perhaps this is meant to be a camping show and a cooking show. I don't care for either element really. I can't sit here and lie to you and say that episode 3 wasn't the best episode and wasn't better in relation to the two of them, but I cannot stress enough that the more we push them being a romance thing, the more I want nothing to do with this show.
Correct.
That's just how I'm sorry. I didn't want to come here and be like, maybe let Kamitsubaki live another week. But I kind of feel that way. I won't lie to you, and I'll give you my
hear me
argument
out.
briefly when we get there.
I have a better one. I'm on vacation next week. What if we just killed both of them?
I'm also on vacation.
No.
Not next
Because
week.
that means
but-
we have to watch 2 episodes of both.
So
No.
I'm on vacation
He wants to
2
kill
and
him
3
now.
weeks from now. So like,
Oh shit, you're right.
Look, we can't just kill 5 shows now and then do week 5 of the podcast.
Sean, let's just
Yes,
make
we
it.
can.
Let's just make it like a
Yeah, we
glue
can.
factory
Why is-
and just umumusme these guys. You know what I'm saying? Just
Look, I'm sorry, by podcast rule, 1 show dies tonight, and then we deal with conflict issues, and unfortunately, we have to watch multiple episodes of another one of these, maybe, if you guys can't make
I
one
will
day work.
podcast from my phone up north if it means killing the show.
And this is why I think we have to vote 1, because then I'm guaranteed to try to get John next week from something. I think we will be fine next week. I think we will have a day that works. It'll be the week after we'll have to talk about, but we'll worry about those as they come.
yeah.
I can't say anything more about why I think this should go more than Kamitsubaki until we talk about Kamitsubaki.
So let's talk about Kamitsubaki.
Well, I was gonna say, if any of you have
file.
anything else you want to say about Solo Camp for 2, now
I
is
think
your
the
time.
show's entirely passable. That's it. That's all I can really say. It's passable in a sea of interesting but mediocre to good.
Tell me how this was the show of all of our shows that had the fan service shot. I don't get it.
Right?
I don't.
It's so wild.
I do really like
why?
in the one part in episode 3 where like as he's leaving the store, you hear me go, hee hee, I love telling people about camping bullshit.
It's so
I'm
good.
like, he's such a fucking dork. And I love him for like that specific part of him.
I don't even
And
dislike.
then they start blushing at each other, and then I go, stop it.
I don't even
Jen is
not
dislike
even
fine.
that
him.
bad.
Jen is fine.
Mason, she's 20 and he's 32. I'm sorry. I can't.
It's 4.
It's
I didn't
also,
remember
like,
if he was 34.
he actively takes pretty much every step to not interact with her.
Which is
And
what
he's-
makes it so much
Until
worse
episode
for me.
3.
Yeah,
You know
But
the way to
also
a man's heart? Food.
it's gotten to the point where he's just like, you know what? Talking to her is better than trying to avoid her at this point. So like, yeah. But
Don't stick your dick in crazy, main character.
She's not even crazy.
learn
She's
from me.
just annoying.
I mean, it can be both.
Speaking of crazy, Austin, let's start talking about Kamitsubaki. So the sun rays come down and burn half the population in a Thanos snap.
Yes.
Do we want to do
have-
this together?
More.
Yes, please. Okay, so basically, our main character, Kaf, it's just singing in the park, and then she goes home, and her
Well, no, she's singing
parents
in the
have been-
park and someone gets fucking stone ashed next to her on the swing, and she goes, "Hold up a minute, I gotta get home."
also,
then she
you might want
watches
to move your
the-
mic a little closer, Austin. It's kind of
And then she's having like 100 other people on her way home.
and then her parents, and then she gets a roommate, grows up.
Hold on. Her
and
parents who are inside a building get sun rayed because I guess they were too close to the fucking window, or it doesn't
Yeah.
care about walls. Gamma radiation.
probably both.
Probably both.
And then she grows up. The city's dealing with some that she lives in is dealing with some issues, but she's got a roommate, and then she's just singing, and then she meets this like weird boy, and then she finds out that there's an incident at the school she goes to where she goes and watches her roommate get fucking turned into a shish kebab and killed. And
And then time passes, and she
And then
has a new roommate, and they are witches who interact with tesseracts, things that exist.
Tesseractors.
Sorry, tesseractors.
Tesseractors.
Things that exist in the irregular zone.
No, the incomprehensible zone.
That's it.
Or-
Guys at home, I want you to understand, I am trying. And I still want this on
See-
next week over Solo
No.
Camper 2.
Mason,
Much-
hit him with the
see-
actually again. Maybe
So-
he'll run it off.
So much like the plot device of this show, the show itself is incomprehensible.
Okay, but so
Okay.
the idea is that our main character
Sean.
has a voice that is able to calm these tesseractors, which are entities of some capacity that take over the remaining human population, who seemingly have an overflow of emotions, most usually negative, is the idea. But she is not the only one who can sing. There are 4 others of them. They have a witch squad, and they get called out to a farmland, where a giant horde. Well, they all have their own individual fights inside these irregular zones. And then they come back together and they talk about it. One of them is like the daughter of the person who makes all the big barriers that keep the city safe from the radiation or whatever the fuck's going on out there. They go to a farmland. There's a giant fucking swarm of fishes that look a lot like her and the other girl's tesseractors. And they split up to go deal with that. And while they do that, our main character finds a tube that seems to be the source of the barrier that has an entity inside of it. But one of the tesseractor fucking obliterates it, and episode 3 starts. And we now have to fix the barrier. And to do this, they split up again. And one of our girls goes to the church, because this is where she was raised, and she saves all the people in the church in a song sequence. This is a lot of song sequence, because it's an idol show. It's a magical girl idol show. And so they come back, she gets brought back by the good tesseractors who are working with them in some capacity, who run the witches organization, question marks. They get back to the farm, where everybody else is, where the old pod was, because they have to fix the barrier. And to fix the barrier, they take one of the girls who was singing in the church, who has specifically been raised to fill this purpose, because she's not quite a witch yet, and they shove her in the tube, and she
She's
restores...
a potential witch.
Yes, a potential
Or
witch.
Something.
And they restore the barrier, and everybody else goes, yo, what the fuck, we just sacrificed a girl. And that's the plot of the show.
Yeah, she's a potential witch, not a witchling, which is different, which is what the 5 protagonists are.
Now-
Except for, like, one of them's been here for a while.
Nice.
Coco's been doing this shit for a bit of time, it seems like.
Now,
Yeah.
hear me out. This show skips a lot and doesn't set up any of the central premises for how any of this shit works, for who these people are, and for how any of these organizations or structures exist. The music, I think, is actually good. I find it the most enjoyable part of the show.
Music
And
is
they
really good.
and they do have semblances of interesting themes and ideas going on here.
Yeah,
Also, the tesseractors
like
they have
the-
are fun, like quirky people. One of them's like they look like Chainsaw Man monsters, devils.
the issue I have with this show is that
Just
it
one?
has like LaCroix when it comes to plot.
Yeah.
Like it has someone mentioned the idea of a plot in the other room, and that's where we got.
It's like they basically, the way that they storyboarded it is that they created a comprehensible story, and then they deleted 2/3 of the scene, like every
Yeah.
2/3, like
So they can put music in, if you need the music.
yeah, but
Yes.
like it is very jarring, like jumps from like one topic to the next, without really explaining anything. And to be fair, this is genuinely just an advertisement for 5 VTubers, and it
Yeah.
clearly shows.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah,
Um,
like it's.
Okay, but it's awesome.
I'll be real. Like I do not I could not follow what was happening in the actual plot from like the last like 5-8 minutes of episode 1 to the back 15 of episode 2.
Okay,
Like-
let me help you out in a way that's gonna make you really mad. It's kind of like Wonder Egg priority.
That's what I was getting from it.
It
but, like,
kinda is really. It's a bunch
No,
of
so-
girls with superpowers and pets that are going to fight negative emotion entities that are causing problems. Except we're removing a lot of the self-harm, and it's already bad. You don't have to wait 6 episodes to find out.
No,
So,
bro,
like,
I love
maybe
the
have
Dopamine
another
episode.
week
Let's
of
make
it.
it worse.
like it's
No,
fair.
but episode 2 has a super cool plot line where like they have Coco, who's like this one witch
That's her name.
who's side guy
It's
is
just
a
a turret.
gun and then because she's the oldest and the most experienced, she has to go like defend this one place. Notably, I think it's supposed to be the church, maybe. But then the witch with the witch hat, I don't know her name. She has a witch hat. That she's different because of that. She has to go to the church because she gets a vision that the church is going to explode or something.
Yes. So
And then she goes to but then she's told to not do that. But at the same time, they knew she was going to do that, so they sent a car to go pick up the other witch from the church that would have exploded if she wasn't there. And then Coco does something fucking else during this. I think goes back to the main group. I think.
So
Guys,
they
so-
send
It
they
is
send the
occurring.
girl with the gun to go get the new berry, to go get the new equipment for the barrier because the pod breaks. So she
the
has
new
to go.
equipment is the girl.
Well, no, she's the power source. So they
I thought we already
They-
had a bot there.
no, the pod breaks. The pod breaks from the Tesseractor. So they
Fucking
send
got
her
a
because
new
she's the
one.
most competent on firepower to protect it on transport. They don't want her to go. They don't want the other girl to go to the church, like the group and the person running their comms, because they don't want them to split up. However, her Tesseractor gives her these powers where she sees parts of the future, which can potentially just be manipulated by the things in charge, because they do need her to go get the power source,
But it
which is a
also
living
seems
human
like
being.
this future thing was what she was being trained to do originally from the church, because the church wanted her to see the future for them.
Yes.
Maybe it's just that because their beliefs did that, the Tesseractors let her do that.
But we know prior from her backstory, it's tied. Her
okay, but
Tesseractor was tied
is
to
like
the
a
other
butler who
witch.
could turn into a flower.
Yes. So hear me
What
out.
if, like,
I'm not gonna lie to you. I actually kind of like this show. I've been building up to it. I do kind of dig it, and I do
I-
kind of follow it, and I
No,
kind of want to
no,
watch
that's
more.
so
So here's my
fair.
thing. Here's the
The
thing, Sean.
show's a really
Sean,
silly.
See,
and
I was
fun.
with you. I was totally with you because I watched the show and I was like half-ass paying attention to it a little bit, like you do when some things get a little confusing and it's late at night, right? And I watched the 3.5, 4 episodes, whatever you want to call it, that we had to watch because there was a fucking episode 0. Thanks, Crunchyroll. And so I watched these episodes, and then I talked with Austin about it, and he's like, "Yeah, no, that shit made no sense to me." I'm like, "Thank you. Okay, I thought I was just dense and not paying attention. No, the show actually was just fucking nonsense.
Yeah.
It's just a fucking advert for VTubers. I get enough of that on my timeline on Twitter. Like,
it
it's fine."
absolutely is.
Yeah, it drops you in the middle of something and explains none of it and just goes, you'll pick it up as it goes, and then doesn't ever.
But
give
then
you
it doesn't
even
drop
the-
anything for you to
it-
pick
it-
up.
It doesn't give you any
just
of the
throws it
even
at you.
breadcrumbs to try to pick up something.
It's like, all right, here's your
we got the
breadcrumbs.
stuff with the witch in episode 3, which to me was kind of good. I did really like the witch stuff with the church. That was actually like pretty. I liked that. I enjoyed all the stuff we got with her. Also, her song was really good. And then we get back to the main group, and I see Kafu again, and I go, "What the fuck is happening?" Kafu and her roommate Rim, who is just Kafu with black hair, because they have the same fucking thing. It's just bluefish and redfish.
And they're the ones with the
Where's
special
one fish and
eyes.
two fish?
One of these girls is also the daughter of the person in charge of all this bullshit. I think it's the one who freaks out and calls out the church girl at the end. I think that's her. I don't remember exactly because they haven't fully done it. This show suffers because it has chosen to skip very important things that are integral for the structure of any show. But it is
like
kind of fun.
introducing your characters.
Yeah.
get. Oh, wait, has
But
final
it's-
response has gone in?
It's fine. Yeah, the votes are in, so
Holy
I can
shit,
tell
they
you.
have-
I know what's
Holy
happened.
shit!
I'm
and I can
sorry.
and I can tell you what's going on. So
I saw this at 4.
or shows.
I was like, "There's 2 options here," and we happened to get the even funnier option.
So I want you to know I voted first, so this was already decided long ago. Welcome. So the voting doc is in. Shows that have full saves, they are safe, very safe, as safe as you can possibly be. Gachiakuta, Fragrant Flower, Leviathan, Summer Hikaru Died, and Silent Witch. Shows that have 1 slay, because we got spicy this week.
I
Clevatess,
did.
Clevatess, City,
Thank you,
With
Dylan.
You in the Rain, and Lord of Mysteries. Now, there is 1 show here that has 4 slays, and 1 show here that has 5 slays. And that does mean
What
something
they have.
happened here. Kamitsubaki has 4. Because I made it very clear, I want solo camping for 2 gone. So one of you was gonna have to be nice enough to spare it, and that's not what happened.
I already put Kamitsubaki and deleted it. Oh,
It was so
It's
funny.
not hard to
seeing
find
it at 4
again.
responses, seeing it
Oh,
four,
that
four,
hurt.
s- 4 slays on solo camping and only 3 on Kamitsubaki, and going. So if if the next person doesn't predict this and
Hear me out,
only vote
guys.
Kamitsubaki, it's just solo going off, or we get a wheel.
Guys,
The at
guys,
worst was a
no.
wheel.
Hear me out. Like, listen, we already watched 4 episodes of it, so we're safe, right? Because there's episodes, so we already watched 4, so we're done. Like,
No,
we're good.
Oh, we
you
watched
watched
episode
4.
three.
We watched 3.
We technically
Because-
watched 2 if you want to. We should really watch another.
Yeah, we gotta watch episode 3 at least. I haven't done that yet.
I
Look,
did watch
I,
Okay.
a third.
I know you need to go to bed.
Yes.
I
And
also
so-
need to go to bed.
Yes, and so here are the final closing thoughts. I'm sorry for what I've done for you, to all of you, but this doesn't make my eyes bleed, like, or last victim, or last victim. No, it doesn't really make my eyes bleed. This is fine. I want to thank everybody for tuning in and sticking with us for an almost 3-hour podcast. And I want to remind the person who commented that you would gladly listen to us talk for 8 hours. No, you don't. So I hope you all have a
By
great
3
night.
hours, we're delusional.
I-
You know,
Yeah.
that talk about Kamitsubaki is wonderful.
I hope you all have a wonderful night. We will see you sometime next week. If I have a good idea, I will post it on the announcement page for the channel so that we know about when we're going live. That's it from us, guys.
First time ever.
Play Almost Make Global. It's really fun.
It's
Bye.
gonna appear online some random day of the